I guess. Stand up, New York Giants fans. Another week and another week on this show talking about the draft. Way too early to be talking about it, but that's probably where the chat is going to drive us tonight, Baddog, as we are watching the worst Thursday night game of all time. But Giants fans' eyes are glued to the television.
Yeah, obviously a lot of draft implications here. The only thing that would make this game worse is if the Giants were playing one of these two teams on Thursday. Obviously, we haven't been live since Carl Banks was on the show last Tuesday, so always shout out to Carl Banks. It's awesome. Hopefully in the future we can get him on again, but also obviously since the last time we were here, big news about the quarterback, which we kind of figured during the game, but it was official. Daniel Jones torn ACL out for the year. And usually that takes a good year to heal. Yep. On average, some guys come back from a little quicker. Some guys take a little bit longer. We all know Daniel Jones, the Giants can get out of his contract after 2024. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think that Daniel Jones's tenure here is up. I think that they will draft the quarterback if they're drafting in the top 5. Yeah. And I think that he'll be there next year as the backup, but I think the rookie's going to start. And I know a lot of people are like, well, you got to fix your offensive line, you got to do this and you got to do that. That's not really the way it works. Yeah. Because I'm going to tell you why, Chris. If you have a good offensive line, you're not drafting top 5. It doesn't happen unless your quarterback's hurt. So every quarterback goes into this situation. It's your job to get your quarterback and then build around the quarterback. C.J. Stroud's doing it. C.J. Stroud's doing it in Houston, right? So 14 touchdowns, 1 interception, 470 yards, and 5 touchdowns against Tampa Bay with no offensive line. And who are his receivers?
Yeah, they're 500. But no, you're right. I actually said the same exact comment to somebody in my live stream this week when somebody brought that up, and I get it. Like in an ideal world, like yeah, ideally that's how you want to build your football team. You want to have everything situated, and that's what we were hoping was going to start to happen as Giants fans this year. You said, okay, you drafted Evan Neal. Now you're going to have your bookend tackles. If things don't work out with Daniel Jones, at least now you're going to have a at least decent offensive line. If Evan Neal did what everybody thought he was going to do, which obviously has not been the case since he's been in the league now for almost 2 years. So, but you're absolutely right. When you're picking that high, we see quarterbacks go top 3, top 4, top 5 all the time. Generally speaking, when a team is picking that early, they probably don't have a very good offensive line. That's a big reason why they're probably picking first overall or second overall. So we all know how important an offensive line is, but at the end of the day, the most important position is a quarterback. And if you're picking that high in the draft in what many feel is a strong quarterback draft class,
yes,
and you have a quarterback who now has sustained injuries in every year of his career but one, and this year he suffered his second neck injury. Now he has a torn ACL on top of it.
Yep.
I don't think Joe Schoen has a choice. Now, again, a lot of this is dependent on where we're picking, what teams are willing to, we don't know. We can't force teams to trade with us. If we're picking 5th or 6th, we don't know how how the landscape's going to play out. But if Joe Schoen really likes a quarterback, I think it's cut and dry at this point. That's where we're going.
Yep. Say hello to a few people. King Trizzy, Flip, Floyd Rage, G-Money, my man. Always good to see my guy G-Money in the house. Miguel Cintron, amazing guy, Milfman. Mr. Hunt is here. Cole Upshaw, Peter Randazzo, Big Louilo, Afghanistan is always here. The main man, Joe Well. What's going on? Appreciate you guys being here. Toy Ranch, Big Louilo, Flip, Mells, Barry Watson, David DeConic, Luan, Dealey, and of course, Elelu. Thank you for the super chat. Off topic, I'm over the sports review because they are streaming Thursday Night Football. Sean lost a bet and had to eat a slice of pineapple pizza. What fun.
Well, he's a Bears fan, so that makes sense, right? That he'd be streaming.
Josh is a Bears fan, yeah. Sean's a Cowboys fan.
Oh, that's right. Sean's the Cowboys. Yeah. But, yeah.
So,
Makes sense.
Yeah, well, it does make sense. You lose a bet, that is a bet loser, right? That's the only time you should be eating pineapple pizza is if you lose a bet. You should never do it intentionally on your own accord. But appreciate you guys being here, and let's just get this out of the way because you know that the screen tonight is brought to you by, yes, indeed, it is brought to you by Body Armor Sport Water. Body Armor Sport Water is an alkaline water with a pH 9 plus and a proprietary electrolyte formula with a wide mouth for easier hydration. You notice it's invisible tonight? Body Armor Sport Water is built for all-day hydration for the athlete and all of us. And if you're like me and you want to flavor up your water, well, guess what? They got zero sugar hydration sticks and a little bit in there. That's why it's green tonight. Lemon, lime, grape, orange. It's fantastic. Get yourself some freaking Body Armor Sport Water, man. It is really good. Everybody tells me I drink too much soda. Well, now I'm drinking a lot of water. So that's always a good thing. And, of course, it's also brought to you by MyBookie.ag. If you want to win some money this week and you want to bet against the Giants, well, you go to MyBookie.ag. And if you're making your initial deposit, enter the promo code Baddog. They'll give you all the way up to $200 free money, depending on how much you deposit. It's BADDOG. It's all one word. Future bets, prop bets, parlays, all that good stuff. You can get out early on a parlay and cash in. You can let it ride and win more. They also have casino games and blackjack and all that other good stuff there at MyBookie.ag. So if you want to gamble, go to MyBookie.ag. Get yourself some free money by entering the promo code Baddog. And please always bet responsibly. Don't ever bet more than you can afford to lose. And whatever you do, do not bet to try to get yourself out of a hole. That's just a way to get into a deeper hole. So don't do that stuff. So now that we paid the bills, and P, thank you for the $5. Boom! Shock and luck, appreciate it. And Big Blue Elo, thank you for super chat. Well, we're going to get into it. We're going to get into that right about now, probably, because this is going to be the...
You asked it.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, Big Blue, we got another 6 months to formulate opinions on this. And listen, I'm a huge Caleb Williams fan, huge. And I don't care what people are going to stir the pot on prospects. That's the way it works. I have my opinion on Caleb Williams. I don't think it's going to change. I'm a huge fan of Caleb Williams. Both of us have been huge fans of Caleb Williams now for over 2 years. We've talked about him on this show long before we ever thought he'd be a New York Giant. As a matter of fact, when he came up in conversation 2 years ago, we scoffed at the idea because we never thought we'd be in this position. So we didn't say we liked him because we thought the Giants could potentially draft him. My opinion has not changed on Caleb Williams. I think the guy is awesome. I think he's got everything that you could want in a quarterback. I know people say the fumbles. He could learn from that. He could grow from that. His upside, to me, you don't see that in most college quarterbacks. So for me, he's one. But I know I like Drake May too. But I would have Caleb Williams one.
Bill, there's no question. Me being a Sooner fan, I've been talking about Caleb ever since he came in and relieved Spencer Rattler in the victory against Texas. And I keep going back to that play that he made against Kansas when his running back was stopped and he ripped the ball out of his running back's hand to get the first down, and Oklahoma won the game. Caleb went to USC. Everybody's like, I'm worried about a USC quarterback. He's not a USC quarterback. He's a Sooner quarterback. He went with Lincoln Riley. That's a thing. But obviously recently, his thing is, he's mentally weak because he cried to his mom. And, one thing I don't understand, like, why are people condemned for their emotions? Like people that like criticize, he cried, he did this, or you're mad. Do people not feel emotions? Like, it's human. It's human nature to feel emotion. I like the fact that he cared. He probably realized his college career is over. He's going to leave college without a national championship. That's the way it is. USC lost their third game. It's over. He's probably upset. I'd much rather have a guy with an inordinate amount of talent and cares about losing as opposed to somebody who has less talent and doesn't give a damn. I am a huge Caleb Williams fan. I have been so. And that, like Chris said, that's not going to change. Now, do the Giants draft Caleb Williams? Does Caleb Williams fit in Brian Daboll's system? Who knows? What I do know is, like Chris said, the fumbles, Tiki Barber had a fumbling problem. Tom Coughlin got there. That stopped. Daniel Jones had a fumbling problem. Brian Daboll got there. That stopped. So coaching can certainly help that. Every quarterback coming out of a draft class is going to have questions. Doesn't matter how good they are. Can they live up to expectation? Can they do it? Can they handle New York? This isn't just a Caleb Williams thing. It could be a Drake May thing. It could be a Michael Penix thing. It could be a J.J. McCarthy thing. It could be a Cam Ward thing. Whoever they decide to draft, right? Jaden Daniels, whatever they're looking at, okay? That's going to be anybody in New York. can they handle New York? Because New York doesn't really have they don't have a high profile college. Syracuse is no good. That's not even really New York.
Yeah,
Syracuse is Syracuse. Rutgers, nobody cares. It's different. There is no college. There's nothing like New York. I just put it that way. So the way guys react to it is one thing, but like I said, man, you can't. On Twitter today, recently, I think it was the last tweet I had about Caleb Williams. I guess when you decide which quarterback you want as a Giants fan, you were asking yourself. This is a question I guess they ask themselves, Chris. Are you drafting for talent? Or are you drafting for personality?
You'd like both.
Yeah, of course you'd like both, but we know that's not the easiest. I mean, if you have to pick one.
Of course, you go for the talent. At the end of the day, you hope that your coach could get the most out of these guys. And you brought up the point. As you were talking, you said, would he fit Dable's system? To me, Dable's the type of guy that's going to fit his system around the quarterback that he brings in. So I would, he's going to try to get the most out of it. He fits his scheme around the players that he has. I don't think he has like a specific scheme. So if they brought in Caleb Williams, they run a system, what they felt like could get the most out of his skill set. Same thing for me. So I'm not worried about that. Listen, we'll see where we're picking as the draft unfolds. I'd be happy with either one of them. But I like Caleb Williams. I'm not going to shy away from that. I don't think we'll have the first pick though, but you never know. We'll see how these two teams do tonight. That'll have a lot of say in it. Plus you got Arizona and everything else.
Do you think that we win another game?
No, but a team like Arizona, for example, they'd have to win 2 because we're going to own the tiebreaker on them because of the strength of schedule. That's the tiebreaker when it comes to draft position. So to pass Arizona, they'd have to win 2 games, and we couldn't win any. Could that happen? Sure, it could. They're getting Kyler Murray back, I guess. But I'll probably lean that we'll win a game. I think we'll win a game. Probably not much more than that. I think we'll get 3, maybe 4 wins. I think we find a way to win a game. I just think the defense will win a game.
So the Giants are getting healthy right at the right time. James Conner's going back to Arizona. Kyler Murray's going back to Arizona. So as somebody said on Twitter, the Giants are getting healthy at the right time because Arizona's getting their players back. So it's good with the Giants, I guess. I don't know, but that's going to be a pressing thing all off season. We'll see how the rest of the college season goes. I mean, you never know. There's a long ways to go in that too. Well, I guess there's not a long ways to go in it, but there's a few more weeks in the bowl games. Caleb Williams ain't going to play in a bowl game. I can tell you that. And Drake May's probably not going to play. None of these big name quarterbacks are going to play in bowl games unless it's for the national championship. That's the way it goes. Georgia's going to be there. Ohio State or Michigan. Well, I guess JJ McCarthy has a chance to play. But and then Florida State seems to be the consensus number 4 right now. So, but again, there's a long ways to go. So it just sucks, man. Last year we had a lot of fun. It was a fun year talking about
most fun I've ever had on YouTube,
without question.
Yeah,
I mean, it's we were every week we were coming in excited, thinking this team's only going to grow from here. They got that playoff experience. I know people have been killing Daniel Jones. I get it. But to me, I just think signing him was the right move. I don't know what else they could have done. People are like, they should have just taken Mayfield. They should have taken more. I mean, you can say that now, but how would that have made sense? You're gonna sign Kyler Murray. I'm sorry. So you would sign Baker Mayfield for a year.
Made no sense.
And you would have Tyrod Taylor backing him up for a year. Then what the hell happens?
Made no sense, Baddog.
You know what I mean?
Obviously, in hindsight, yeah, you could say, oh, well, Baker Mayfield wouldn't have cost that much money, but it was not in the world of reality. We just won a playoff game. Daniel Jones went 9-6-1 as a starter the year before. He was familiar in the offense. The only question was it going to be a tag or a multi-year deal? It became a multi-year deal, but that was their choice. They were picking 25th. Come on, get real. Get real.
Yeah. And they couldn't afford to tag him. I mean, they're strapped for cash as it is. And they had to move his money around. I mean, they wouldn't have been able to, they wouldn't have had Barkley if they tagged Jones, because you can't tag 2 players and they weren't signing Saquon Barkley. And Jones's cap hit would have been $32 million. You couldn't have fielded a team. So I think what they did was, I think it was the right thing to do. It was almost like a 2-year extension. And if he lived up to those 2 years, and they had 2 more years of them under the current contract. And if things fell apart the way they did this year, they're out after 2024.
Yeah, it didn't prohibit them. It didn't prevent them if things, and obviously I don't think they anticipated this. I don't think anybody did for it to be this bad. But if it was a catastrophic event, it does not prohibit them from drafting a quarterback this year.
Right.
So if we would have signed it like a true franchise quarterback contract, it would have, but that's not the case. So you bite the bullet for a year. Well, you have a rookie quarterback. You're not competing for a Super Bowl next year anyway. So if it hurts the cap, it hurts the cap. And then the following year, you move off and you continue to build your team. That's where I think we're headed.
Right. That's what you do. I mean, that's
Yeah.
just it is what it is. I think even if Daniel Jones was healthy in there, well, they definitely would have been picking first if he was healthy. I definitely think they would have won a couple games at least. But now with Tommy DeVito a quarterback, or Matt Barkley or whatever, I just don't. I don't know who they can beat on this schedule. They're not beating Dallas, and we know that.
No.
Washington's going to beat us. If Washington can't beat the Giants with Tommy DeVito, they are just forfeit when they play the Giants.
Yeah.
They should never do it again. Patriots should beat us. Their defense is good, right? They beat the Bills.
Should.
So
I wouldn't be stunned if we beat the Packers off a bye, or stunned if we beat the Patriots, but I wouldn't pick us against anyone right now. I agree with you on that, but I think we'll find a way to win a game. But I wouldn't be stunned if we don't. I mean, like you said, we got Tommy DeVito right now, a quarterback.
Yeah, that ain't gonna be who I'm telling you, anybody my age or a little older, Mike Reno, lover boy. That is freaking it's Tommy DeVito, man. He looks like Mike Reno from Loverboy. Jimmy, thank you for the super chat, brother. Appreciate you. He says, have you guys seen the latest drama from WFAN? Now that we have that slob Geo taking shots at sports writers on Twitter, the Gary Myers thing, I did see that. Sad to see what WFAN has turned into. Evan and Tiki's the only decent show left. Listen, even before the whole Carl Banks thing, I was talking about how lousy WFAN is compared to the way it was. It's just not good. And I see some things on Twitter where like the program director, like taking shots at just people on Twitter, like out of nowhere. I'm like, what the hell kind of professional are you? Like I said last week, whatever, I'm an idiot with a camera. I can say whatever the hell I want. This isn't my profession.
Yeah.
When you're a professional, supposedly, discretion's a better part of valor. Sometimes you just got to walk away from it. But WFN's been taking a lot of heat, and they treated Carl Banks poorly. They lost the spot there, and then whoever the hell came out and said, "Oh, it was boring anyway." I forgot who said that, and I'm like, then why was he there for 20 years?
Yeah. I don't. I'm gonna be honest. It's not because I've like boycotted the fan. I just don't listen to radio anymore. I take the train into work and then I work. So, when I go in, and I don't drive a whole lot, so I don't really listen to radio anymore. But yeah, from what you hear, from the sound clips I hear from WFN, it doesn't seem to be the same station that we grew up listening to. And then, that you see, what's the guy's name again? He used to do the morning. I think he still does do the morning show with Boomer, right? The guy that said what he's talking about, Gio.
Gio, yeah.
Yeah, dude. I mean, getting into fights with Gary Meyer on Twitter, like, what he had to say, it's ridiculous. It's embarrassing you got to be professional. It's I don't know. It just seems like it feels like WFAN is trying to be like
shock radio.
No, yeah, well, shock radio for sure. But what's Barstool Sports? That's what it feels like WFAN is trying to become. And Barstool Sports is fine for that, but you're not supposed to be Barstool Sports. You're supposed to give well-informed opinions. People tune in to listen to well-informed opinions. And it feels like WFN is like trending towards becoming Barstool Sports.
It's trending towards crap.
Yeah.
I know Gary Myers said Gio said something about Gary Myers' book. I won't promote your piece of shit book, blah, blah, blah. And I just commented, I'm like, well, you just did promote his book right here on Twitter. Mind blown, because it's the truth. He did promote it. It wasn't a ringing endorsement, but he promoted it. He mentioned it. That's promoting it. Yeah. When you're in that line of work, I guess any publicity is good publicity, right?
That seems to be their mindset nowadays at that station.
WFAN. Well, listen, I thank them for allowing us to have Carl Banks. That's that.
Oh, of course.
But I don't know what the hell the deal is with WFN. I really don't. But like you said, I used to listen to when I had Sirius XM in my car. I don't have it anymore because they got rid of a lot of stuff that I listened to. They got rid of a couple stations. I would listen to Mad Dog. Like I always listen to Chris Russo, on Sirius XM. So that was it. That was really and only when he was on. Like during the morning, I wouldn't listen to him, but like in my drive home in the afternoon, he was on. So I still like Mad Dog Russo. I still listen to, whenever Francesa does his podcast on the Bet Rivers Now network or whatever it is, and he has a YouTube channel or whatever, I always listen to his post game about the Giants because I've said it once, I've said it a million times, man. Mike and the Mad Dog are gigantic inspirations to me, and I always feel like I'm a combination of their personalities. You grow up in New York, you grow up listening to them. They're very vocal, they rant, they're stubborn, that's me. So why do I like them so much? I'm like, I know where they're coming from. The Mellow Man, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. Cut McKinney right now. Yeah, Chris, what do you think about the stuff McKinney has been saying?
I wouldn't cut him right now, but I'm sure what he had to say doesn't alter my opinion at all. I didn't want to bring him back long before that because of, he has not played at a super high level and what the amount of money he's going to command. But it's clearly not a good look on his part. I think what's going through McKinney's head is it's a contract year, and he probably feels in his head he's being selfish, and that's what you get when you have a team that is playing horrible. Players start thinking about themselves, and he's saying to themselves, it's a business, it's a contract year. He probably feels like Wink is not putting him in the best situation for him to be able to highlight his skill set, and he's being selfish because he wants to be able to make money this offseason. That's what I think is happening. But as a Giants fan, I honestly don't care what he has to say because I don't think he's going to be a Giant next year. But am I happy? No, you're a captain. You're not supposed to do that, but it is what it is. From a positive standpoint, I like that the other captains on the team, I think it was Andrew Thomas, kept him in check. Like they basically said everything he had to say was we don't agree with it.
We don't agree with it, right?
Yeah. So that was good. But we're not cutting him now, but I don't expect him to be back with the team next year. I'd be stunned.
I'll be too. And he's my favorite Giant. But that's a great point you brought up. He probably is upset that whatever's going on is not utilizing his skill set, not really raising his value. But at the same time, if you're a captain of a team, you can't come out and say these type of things because it's going to look bad on you when you do go to free agency. A team's going to say, well, listen, we would give the guy money, but is he going to do the same thing here? Is he going to be a headache? Is he going to, call out the coaches and everything else? Do we want that guy in our locker room? So, yeah, I see what he's doing there. Is trying to, almost, put an excuse in there. That's why this team's bad, and they are a bad team. But yeah, I don't see him coming back just because he's going to get $14 to $18 million at the very least. The Giants can't afford to pay him.
They're not paying him that. They're not paying him.
Yeah, but the other thing you mentioned it about the free agent year because you didn't hear this any other year, and his other 2 years, not last year, but the 2 years previous, we were terrible too, and you didn't ever hear that stuff. So,
and the Giants did right by him last year too when he did what he did on the ATV. Understandable, he's a young guy. He's having fun on the bye week. I get it. Giants could have. They paid him his full money. They didn't do it. I think there was a stipulation in the contract he wasn't supposed to do that. They did the right thing by him. They supported him. So, whatever. I'm kind of indifferent to it though because I know he's not going to be back next year.
He says draft Marvin, revamp the old line rounds 2 through 4. Fire Kafka immediately. Well, the thing is, man, like firing Kafka right now is not gonna help the Giants. This year's a tailspin, so let him ride out the year. There's no reason to bring in another offense coordinator or just have Dable call. Just let Kafka finish out the year. There's really nothing to do here unless they just wiped everybody out. I think he should finish the year. Sign Saquon Barkley. I don't know that I would do that either. I mean, he's been injured again. He's got an ankle. Listen, you sometimes you got to take your emotion out of it. I love Saquon, but I don't think you can put money into the running back. I just don't. By the way, I have Asperger's syndrome, so you can give me a shout out. Well, shout out to the Mellow Man.
Shout out, Mellow Man. Shout out for sure. Yeah, and to speak on what I don't want to. I mean, I love Marvin Harrison Jr., but if we're in the position to take a high-end quarterback, that's what I want. Won't be upset if we get Marvin Harrison Jr. Revamp the O-line. I think every Giants fan is with you there. We've been trying to revamp this offensive line for 12 years.
Yeah.
Kafka, I'll leave up to Dable. That's his decision. Listen, I'm not going to scream either way if they bring Kafka back or if they don't. Dable's job will be on the hot seat next year with the way that this team is playing. And if that's Dable's decision, if he is willing to put his job on the line with Kafka calling the plays, okay, I'll ride with that. That's how I feel about the situation. So we'll see. We'll see what happens in the offseason. I'm not going to go crazy either way. And as far as what you had to say about Barkley, yeah, I'm kind of like for the right deal, I'm okay with it, but I'm not breaking the bank for Saquon Barkley. Like you said, he's a running back. He's older. I get it. I do think he's going to be back because I think they would have traded him if he wasn't going to be. But the Giants still have that tag in their back pocket, so they could use that, or they could negotiate what they feel is a reasonable deal. I don't think Barkley's getting a massive contract. I'd be stunned. He had another injury. He's going to be 27 next year. Don't see it.
Yeah, I can't give him more than 2 years.
Yeah. No, it won't happen. Won't happen.
Can't give him more than 2 years.
Yeah.
Gabriel, thank you for super chat. He says thoughts on Marvin Harrison Jr. in the first, Jaden Daniels in the second. Depending on where we're drafting, if all the quarterbacks that they want are gone, I wouldn't have a problem with that. But if they're drafting top 3, a quarterback's coming there. You don't pass up on a quarterback for wide receiver, no matter how special that wide receiver is, because who's throwing him the ball next year?
Yeah.
I mean, Jaden Daniels, you don't know. The thing is, we can sit here and say Jaden Daniels in round 2 or trade back up into the end of round 1 and get J.J. McCarthy, but we don't know where these guys are going to go. Remember, the Underwear Olympics decides a lot of where these quarterbacks draft stock is. The combine really changes. That's how we ended up with Kayvon Thibodeau because, Trayvon Walker had the gigantic combine and Kayvon just ran the 40. Said, I'm not playing anymore, and he fell to 5th. So, has a lot to do with it.
And, quarterback's not a position you mess with, in my opinion. We can't predict where we're going to be picking. We don't know what Shane feels about these quarterbacks. But for me, you take your quarterback there. If they're going to be picking where we think they're going to be picking, and you like a quarterback, you're taking a quarterback with that pick.
Absolutely.
You just are. You're not bypassing that position that early in the draft. You're not going to do
because we've talked about this for weeks now. It would give Joe Shane job security.
Yeah.
You bring in a rookie, he's tied to the rookie. That's when his clock starts, not Daniel Jones.
They're not waiting until the second round to take a quarterback, unless they're in a position where they don't like any of the quarterbacks. We can't predict what's going to happen. But if they like a quarterback where they're picking, they're taking a quarterback.
NP, thank you for the super chat. If you were to create an all-time Giants team, who would be on it? LT, Tuck, Strahan, etc. Well, LT would be on everybody's all-time.
And Strahan. Strahan would definitely be on there.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'll go, I'm not going to go back to the 50s and 60s. I don't know enough about those teams. I'm just going to go with the unit. I say it all the time. The offensive line as a whole, with the 07, 08 offensive line, I just think that unit was incredible. And continuity is as important as anything else. I know the Giants had a great offensive line in 92, so 86 and the 90 team. So you could certainly argue that. Wide receiver, Baddog, I mean, you got to go. You have to put Toomer on there with one of the 3 spots. He owns every record, right? So you got to put Toomer on there, and then you throw other names in the hat. Of course, Odell Beckham is going to be widely talked about. Had one of the greatest first 3 years to a career in the history of the NFL at the position. Well, he was a Giant, so he's certainly in the discussion. Of course, Victor Cruz, but it was short-lived. Plaxico is probably in there for me. Plaxico had a lot to do with the upbringing of Eli Manning, a lot to do with it. And he has so many memorable catches, so many memorable games as a New York Giant, big moments. So for me, I'm putting Plax, I'm putting Toomer, and I'm probably putting OBJ at the wide receiver. Running back, you have to go Tiki. But before we're at the tight end.
Absolutely.
And then we already mentioned LT. We mentioned Strahan. You got to throw Jesse Armstead in there somewhere. You got to throw
Banks in there.
Yeah, Banks. There's so many great. Keith Hamilton was a great player too. There's
Leonard Marshall would be on mine.
Leonard Marshall, of course. Jason Seahorn.
Yeah, absolutely.
Antro Roll probably as a safety. So there's so many great Giant players. It's so hard to do.
It is. I mean, Emlyn Tunnell goes back to the 50s, but he'd have to be on there.
Yeah.
Without question. I think my receivers, actually put that on Twitter. That actually got a lot of responses. I've been having fun doing that. Like, say, tell me your favorite guy at this position. The lineman one was fun. That was fun. Finding out everybody's lineman. A lot of people like Homer Jones, the guys who grew up in the 70s. And I learned a lot. Pretty much it tells me when people, were born or when they started watching the Giants. My favorite was Victor Cruz. A lot of love for Hakeem Nicks. Makes sense. I mean, Nicks was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for me, if I'm doing it, and Plax was great too. But if I'm picking three, it's probably Toomer, Odell Beckham, and Victor Cruz. That's probably where. And of course, Bavara's the tight end. There's no question about that. Tiki would definitely be the running back. And yeah, you could take any one of those offensive lines from the Super Bowl championship teams or the 08 team. They were fantastic. Defensive backs, and like I said, Edmonton would have to be in there. I'm a big Mark Collins guy. I think Mark Collins is great. So
OC needs to get some consideration.
Yeah, OC would definitely talk.
Yeah. So
yeah, Giants on that side of the ball, I think it's more difficult.
Yeah,
because we've had great defenders. Offense has never been high flying. We've never had that. Oh, the quarterback's obviously Eli. We didn't even.
Eli.
We didn't even mention that one. We didn't even need to say that.
I think most fans just agree on that. Yeah.
Yeah. Cowboy MLB, thank you. Or Super Chat, he says, goodbye, Tom Brady. Hello, Danny DeVito. Tommy DeVito, sorry, some of the Freudian slip. I'm ready for DeVito to take the NFL by its balls. There's a universe where this happens. Are we the one? No. Did you watch Tommy DeVito play last week against the Raiders?
You don't think DeVito's the next Tom Brady?
I think he's the next Tommy DeVito.
Who is that other Italian quarterback that the Cowboys had to start like 3 years ago when
DiNucci.
I think Tommy DeVito's the next DiNucci. That's what I think.
There you go. Yeah. Mr. DiNucci. I hope Tommy DeVito gets out of this game in one piece.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw what they did to Daniel Jones. Dallas is pissed off. They just lost a tough game to Philadelphia. This is in Dallas. They won't beat us 40-0 this time. I predicted 33-7 Dallas, but I just hope Tommy DeVito gets out of it in one piece. It's gonna be rough for him. Rooting for the kid, no question about it. It's a great story, but God Almighty, that Dallas defense is gonna eat that kid alive. As I said on Twitter, you might as well wrap ribeye steaks around his waist and throw him into a lion's den because it's.
And Barkley, I don't know. I didn't get an updated status with Barkley, so he was a little bit dinged up.
He has an ankle.
Imagine if he doesn't play and my God.
He has an ankle, Chris. An ankle. He's got an ankle. Daniel Jones with a knee. If any of you guys have not seen my Brian Daboll parody presser, watch it.
I saw it. I watched it. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was good.
Somebody said this is more Brian Daboll than Brian Daboll.
Yeah.
It had to be done. About the disclaimer. When I did the Joe Judge thing, I was done with Joe Judge. Like I wanted him out. I do not want Brian Daboll fired. I like Brian Daboll. To me, this is growing pains. And he's not going anywhere. The reason Joe Judge left, like Chris mentioned before, is because the GM left, and you could not force Joe Judge to a new GM.
Yeah.
Brian Daboll's handpicked by Joe Shane. Unless Joe Shane is fired, Brian Daboll's not going anywhere.
Yeah, there was no reason other than sustainability, but you weren't going to have sustainability in the first place because you were bringing in a new general manager, so you didn't want to disrupt the guy that you could potentially hire. So there was no legitimate reason to bring Judge back, and then he just kind of sunk it for himself. Not so much with the way that the team played. Like I was at a place, Baddog, with like 7 weeks to go, when Jones got hurt. I was like, well, what can you do if you're Judge? You're not going to win a lot of games, right? They were 4-7. They were semi-competitive the year before. So I thought at that point he was coming back no matter what the team did for the rest of the year because he had a built-in excuse. I'm starting Mike Glennon at quarterback.
Jake Fromm, too.
Jake Fromm. But then he just sank it for himself, man, with the way that he handled the media down the stretch, that meltdown, and obviously the QB sneak. But I think what did him in ultimately, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be honest. Like, if we had a general manager that we were definitely bringing back the following year, I don't think Judge would have been fired because I think it would have been, there was a reasonable excuse why the team played the way that they did. but it was because we were moving on from Gettleman that we didn't really have a choice.
I agree. I definitely agree with that. I mean, but yeah, he was going to go anyway. Gettleman being fired, he was going,
Yeah.
but his 11-minute rant did not help matters, and that back-to-back quarterback sneak thing, that without question,
That was embarrassing. Yeah.
was his ticket out of town,
Yeah.
without question. Peter, thank you for the super chat, man. Appreciate you. He says the Williams May debut reminds me. I think he meant debate. Reminds me of Peyton and Leaf. Well, hopefully we pick the one that's
Hopefully we
Peyton.
pick Peyton.
Hopefully we pick Peyton.
I mean, you can say that about so many drafts, though. There's so many like even this past draft, there was a debate who the best quarterback is. But yeah, I don't view either one of the guy. I didn't. Now, granted, I was 13 or 12 when Peyton Manning was drafted, so I wasn't as into the NFL as I am now. But from what I recall, Baddog, Peyton Manning, Caleb Williams has been talked about a lot, not on the level of a Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning was like really hyped up, and I know Charles Woodson won the Heisman that year, but he was one of the most talked. He might have been the most talked about quarterback in my life. Coming into the pro,
he was big time. Without question.
I mean, Andrew Luck is up there too, but
Trevor Lawrence is another one that was really he's talked about a lot because they compared him to Andrew Luck, so it made sense. But Caleb Williams gets a lot of that. You know, I'm a big Michael Penix fan. I mean, there's no question. I like Michael Penix, but somebody brought up a great point. And I didn't even think about this because Penix a lefty.
Yeah.
So Neal will be protecting his blind side.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to work. Because the right tackle.
Well, the way I look at that, Baddog, is this.
You would move Thomas to the right side?
I don't think we're drafting Penix because the thing I worry about with Penix is his injuries. But I agree with you in terms of he's got a really strong arm. I see what you see. But I don't think we're drafting Penix. But here's what I'll say. If Joe Schoen loved Michael Penix, I'm not going to let that deter me from drafting him. Like, right. I would make it work. The quarterback's the most important position. If I had to move Thomas to the right side, I'd do it. But I'd do whatever I had to do. But if he loves him, I don't think that's a good enough reason not to draft him because you're worried about who's going to play at the right tackle.
Yeah, you would figure it out. You'd say, I want the talent. We'll figure out the right side of the line because now we have to consider because again, that's the equivalent of a left tackle when you have a left-handed quarterback as the right tackle.
I don't think we'll draft him. But if Shane loved him, I don't think that would scare him from drafting him.
So I wonder what Shane's going to do. So I put it on Twitter and this Saturday. All four of the college quarterbacks that Giants fans want to see play, and it's all spaced out. Like at noon, I want to say it's Drake May at noon.
I'm excited to see McCarthy, man.
McCarthy at noon. One of them's like noon, one of them's 2:30, one of them's 7:30, one of them's 10. Like they really did space them out a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I know where I'm going to be for 12 hours.
not just McCarthy as an individual. I'm excited to see that game. Like.
So am I, because this is
Michigan
the first
Penn State. That's gonna be a fun game.
It's gonna be a good one. And I haven't really watched Michigan because they haven't had a challenge, and so I really haven't watched McCarthy. But Penn State, Michigan State, it's gonna be good. Not as good as Michigan, Ohio State, but Michigan, Penn State.
Penn State's damn good, man.
I know they're that's what I'm saying. It's not as good as Ohio State, but that's just a great rivalry anyway. But Michigan, Penn State's gonna be a good one. Without question. Now the Sooners are completely done. There's really no reason for me to watch them after they lost to Oklahoma State. They're done. So it doesn't matter anymore. Rebra, that's the worst thing about college football. Your team loses 2 games, you're done. Your season's over. You can't win a championship when you lose 2 games. A lot of times you lose 1 game and it's over. Thank you for the super chat. Says not
they expanded the playoffs this year, didn't they? It's 6 teams now, right?
Oh, did they?
I think that maybe I'm wrong on that. I think they did.
No, with 2 losses, Oklahoma's done.
No, yeah,
they would have had to run the table. They after losing to Kansas, they would have had to run the table. After they beat Texas, I swear to God, they had a big time letdown. Thank you for super chat. Is not sure if you saw my tweet. You should make a video reacting to your vid on season record prediction. You the man. How can I be the man? You the man. I'm not gonna. That would be a boring video. Like no one's gonna watch me react to my. I mean, it doesn't even matter now. I mean, I react to my, my season record predictions every week when I do my post game. I mean, I thought we'd beat Dallas. I thought at this point, I probably thought we'd be, where are we? Week 9 is this? We're 2-7.
Yeah.
probably had us at 5-4 right now.
I probably did
I
too.
had us beating Seattle. I had us beating the Jets. I had us beating Arizona. I had us beating Dallas. I had us losing to San Fran. Maybe I had a 6-3 right now, but obviously now it doesn't. I definitely had us beating the Raiders. It doesn't matter now though. We have no quarterback.
I mean, look at record predictions are completely irrelevant at the end of
They're,
the day.
they're
Like,
based on your team being 100% healthy.
yeah, yeah, exactly. If I would have done a record prediction before the year started, you would have told me Daniel Jones was going to miss basically the whole season, and Andrew Thomas was going to miss basically the whole season up to this
Barkley was going
point,
to miss a
and
month.
Barkley was going to miss half the games up to this point. I would have probably had us where we are.
Right.
So, record predictions are irrelevant because you do it based off of, like you said, going into the year, you could only assume, or you at least you don't think your
Now
quarterback's
Waller's out.
yeah,
Right?
Waller's out, but we kind of expected that. But
Yeah.
regardless, yeah, that's why record predictions are irrelevant. Irrelevant. It's
Yeah.
fun, but it's irrelevant.
That's what it is. It's just to get you hyped up for the season.
Yeah.
You're giving the best predictions, considering on, like I said, all things being considered equal, that your team is healthy, and our team wasn't good to begin with, and now it's just beat to hell, and it's bad. Chris B, thank you for super chat. Feel bad for DeVito. I do too.
Yeah, we all do.
I'll be rooting my ass off for him, but that poor kid.
He doesn't stand the chance.
This ain't the Raiders. This ain't the Jets. Jets are good. They're not Dallas. I expect the Giants just run the hell out of the ball. I don't care who the running back is.
I expect them to try to do that, but I think Dallas is going to get them in a position where DeVito's going to have to throw at some point because we're going to be down by like 3 scores, and
they'll still run.
Yeah, probably.
LA Sports saying we remember for 34 months. If the Giants lose out, you want Dable? No, I think we discussed that earlier. He's not going anywhere. He's safe. I don't want him fired anyway. I only do the parodies because this year's been shit and we need a laugh. At least I needed a laugh. And it's rare that I watch my videos back. Or I watch that one back and I'm like, that was a pretty good imitation of Dable. You know what? It was funny when I read the comments that people love like the voices that I do for the questions.
The guys that ask the questions.
Yeah, so it's like he goes, the Dable thing's hilarious, but the voices, like, how the hell do you do? How do you keep a straight face when you do that? So what I do when I do stuff like that, I just say the thing into my phone. Like I just record my voice into my phone, and I put them in order. And then when I'm done, I just swipe it over. So I'm not actually asking the question like, well, I've already recorded the question. I know what I want to say to the question. That's how I did. There's very few things that are like scripted. I don't really do any scripted videos, but something like that, I have to have some semblance of what I'm going to do. Otherwise, it's not going to work. But I just feel like, how the hell do you not laugh? I don't know. I laugh afterwards. I figured people get a good kick out of, he came over the neck, he left with a knee. What did you think about the tush push? Well, he didn't have a tush. I mean, his tush, he didn't have a tush. He still doesn't have a tush. He had a neck. You don't push from the neck. You push from the tush. He didn't have a tush. He had a neck. And now he has a knee. So I figure people get a kick out of that. Tyrod has some ribs, making me hungry. I'm hungry. So if I'm sure with you guys today, don't worry. Tyrod has ribs. Stable.
Yeah.
Yep, not good enough today, Chris. Just not good enough. You saw it.
Dable's always very. I mean, I don't mind it, but he's always very short with the media. Yeah.
Somebody said you need to do a Brian Cashman one. Brian Cashman's an idiot. That's a day for another stream or a stream for another day.
I can't believe he still has his job. I honestly can't believe he still has his job.
Hal won't fire him. Hal ain't got no sack.
Yeah.
Brian Dable said the Yankees are pretty up and good. Brian Dable? Brian Cashman said the Yankees are pretty freaking good. Stupid?
Missed the playoffs.
Talking about we were 2 games over 500. Talking about we're pretty freaking good. Situation's good here. Really? Okay. Talking about how the prospects didn't hit. Some guy was asking why the prospects didn't hit. He's like, where are we gonna put Peraza? You're gonna say DJ? How about you said Donaldson? You wasted $50 million. I'm not talking about this. Peter, thank you for the shot, because I could go on and on and on about the Yankees. They pissed me off more than the Giants. The problem with Shane is that he wanted to sign Saquon and tag Jones. Saquon threw the wrench in the plan. I haven't a doubt.
Of course, that was the ideal plan. Yeah. He had a tough situation this year. It's not often where your two faces of the franchise become available to be free agents in the same offseason. And they were coming off. He didn't go into the year expecting the Giants to do what they did. Nobody did. So
Right.
he had a tough decision to make. I thought he, based off the situation, if we're talking in the world of reality, I think he made the right choice. Sometimes the right choice doesn't, it doesn't produce good results. It is
Correct.
what it is.
Yeah, sometimes you draft the right guy and it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Some guys go elsewhere. Evan Ingram goes to Jacksonville. He plays well. And some guys just don't do it here. Maybe it's the city, maybe it's the team, maybe it's the quarterback. Who the hell knows? Maybe it's the entire situation. Who the hell knows why some guys succeed in other places? So some guys can find, diamond in the rough. They can make good things out of, whatever. They can make lemonade out of lemons, I guess. I don't know. They can make chicken salad out of chicken shit. I don't know what to tell you. But what I know is we don't have a good team. And, I guess everybody's going hindsight. They should have picked up the 50 option. He couldn't. He had a neck injury. We don't know what the
Nobody
hell
was picking up the option. Nobody was picking up that option before the year started.
They didn't want to do that. They
No
made
way.
him prove it. He proved it. They won a playoff game. I think they made the right decision too. They didn't give him a franchise deal. They didn't. Everybody always keeps bringing up that $160 million. They're going to get out of it. They're not going to have to pay that. They're going to pay half of it.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to do. And they're going to get hit with some dead cap and they'll move on.
Yeah.
But they have a lot more cap. Even with Daniel Jones taking up $47 million of the cap, the Giants are going to have around $50 million. And if they cut Slayton and then Glowinski, they're going to have an extra 10. So
they'll be okay. They'll be okay.
They'll be fine.
Next year, Shane's not going to go hog wild anyway. Especially if we're drafting a quarterback, he's going to try to build through the draft. He'll bring in a couple of pieces that he feel like can help the upbringing of the quarterback. He's not going for a Super Bowl run next year, so I'm not too concerned with it. We'll be okay. It all boils down to two things for Joe Shane. You have to hit on the quarterback that you draft, and you have to build a line. If you do that, you'll be here for a long time. That's it. Cap be damned next year. If you hit on the quarterback and you build the lineup over the next 2 years, Shane's going to be here for another 7 or 8 years. That's
right.
it. If he doesn't, he's going to be here for 2 more years, and we're going to have a new GM.
Correct. So what we're going to do, we're going to get a quarterback. You're going to build a wall, frankly. You're going to bring it back bigger and stronger here with the Giants. You're going to start winning championships. I have no doubt Joe Shane is doing wonderful things. He's had a bad year. It happens. But the Giants they're going to get that quarterback. They're going to build a wall. Got to build a wall, Chris. Got to build it. Tommy, thank you for the super chat. He says, it's been a while since I've heard Trey Hawkins' name. Is he still getting snaps? And if not, why not? Yay, football. That was a good one. Yay, but you guys are too negative. We're down 27-0. Yay. No, he hasn't played well. I mean, that's why he got benched.
I'm curious to look at his snap counts. Yeah, I think he's right. I don't think he's played that much as of late.
No. They've had Flott in there. They've had Adoree in there. I mean, we've seen Cordell Flott in the field a lot.
Flott's played a ton. Yeah.
So I think he's taken Trey Hawkins' rap. Hawkins just wasn't – he was getting preseason, but the regular season –
Hawkins hasn't played a snap the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, he hasn't.
He played 86% of the snaps the week before, but the last 2 weeks he hasn't played.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Maybe they found
obviously the defense has been playing better as of late, so I'm not going to really argue about it.
They didn't play well at all against the Raiders.
No, not last week, but before that, so I'm not going to argue it. So it is what it is. I mean, Deonte Banks is playing really well. Cordell Flott's played actually good when given the opportunity. So, I mean, he's a 6th-round pick at the end of the day. So,
right, exactly. Peter, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. Enough with 53 captains. We need one on offense, one on defense, one on special teams. Stop already. I agree. Too many captains. There's no captains. Why do you need so many captains?
It's not. I mean, the Giants definitely have more than most teams, or at least I think they do. But most teams have a lot of captains. It's just I think there should only be like maybe 3. That's it. But every team has at least 5 or 6, at least.
I can remember. I'm pretty sure this was 1986 Super Bowl. Broncos had like 5 or 6 guys go out for the coin toss. It was just Harry Carson.
Yeah.
The Giants. It was just Harry Carson. That was it.
Well,
and
I don't get it. I don't get how they have a captain for every positional group on the defense and every the quarterback, the running back, the offensive lineman, They all have captains. Then you have the linebacker, 2 D linemen, a
Safety.
corner, a safety. That would be like in baseball, you giving a captain to a middle infielder, a corner infielder, an outfielder, a pitcher, a closer. They don't do that. I don't get it. I don't get the captainage in the NFL. It doesn't make sense to me.
I don't get it either. What I will not forget is that Carl Banks had 15 tackles.
Yeah, he made sure to remind us of that.
Let me know that because he was the best player on the field in the playoffs in '86.
Yeah.
Was the best player on the field. Anybody that lived through that, like I said, that was Lawrence Taylor's year, but those playoffs belonged to Carl Banks. He was the best player on the field during that '86 playoff run, the championship run. He was unstoppable.
I actually watched his highlights after our interview from that '86 run because you guys were talking about it, and he was insane.
I was a beast.
He was insane.
Like I said, John Madden said it. He goes, that guy that wears number 58 that plays like that other guy, number 56. I mean, that's about as high praise as you could give somebody as a linebacker in 1986. You weren't getting a better compliment. And Lawrence Taylor always said, I wish I could play the run nearly as good as Carl Banks played. Nobody played the run better than Carl Banks. Nobody. He was one of the best ever at stopping the run. You could not run at him. You could not run away from him. He was really good. That's what Lawrence Taylor said. He goes, I could only dream of defending the run as well as Carl Banks does.
Yeah.
Third overall pick. I mean, the Giants had good linebackers when they drafted Carl Banks. That's why Carl Banks always tells that story when he walked up to like Harry Carson, Lawrence Taylor, and said, we're pretty good at linebacker here, homeboy. What are you going to do to get on the field? That's it, so he showed you why you belong to the field. MP, thank you for the super chat. Who are each of your top 5 Giants of all time?
Are we talking best or favorite? If we're talking best, I mean LT, obviously. Eli's going to be in my top 5. He plays the quarterback. He's the best quarterback in franchise history. He is widely responsible for 50% of our Super Bowls. So Eli's going to be on there for me. Michael Strahan on there for me.
Yeah. Tiki.
I mean, if we're going back, I'm not going to go back. I'm not going to those 40s, 50s, 60s Giants.
Yeah, I would go to Emlyn Tunnell is one of the greatest Giants ever. So almost any list that he.
Are we talking Super Bowl era? Or we're talking all time. Is that? Yeah.
Well, he's put all time. I mean, I don't know things like before the 50s. Like I really don't know anything about those teams, but that's tough. That's really hard. The Giants had some really freaking good players come through this organization. I mean, for me, like I said, to me, there's 2 that I can name. 3. It'd be LT, Strahan, and Eli.
Those are the three. Yeah,
those are like the 3. And then you can flip a coin. Depending on the era that you grew up in.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue Carl Banks, the guy we were just talking about. Right. You could argue Toomer. You could argue Tiki. You could argue Osi. You could argue Tuck. I mean, there's Odell. You could make arguments for several players, but I think Eli. You
could argue Frank Gifford. You going back
Frank Gifford for sure. Yeah, I think Eli, Strahan, and LT they're on their own tier for me. Those guys should be in any top 5 list.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Bob, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you, my friend. He says, hello, my brothers. GBN had a midseason. What's GBN?
I don't know.
I'm trying to think what it is. We picked 4th and grabbed Shedeur Sanders. Thoughts? I don't want Shedeur Sanders the 4th overall pick.
No.
Definitely not.
No,
not reaching. I'm not reaching for him. He's a project. Like, he's raw. He's got incredible talent, but that guy's not a top 5 pick. If we're picking 4th and Drake May, Michael Penix, and Caleb Williams are going, I'd take Marvin Harrison Jr. right there.
Yeah.
Honestly.
No, I'm not taking him with the top 4 pick. I'm not doing that. No.
I think Shedeur Sanders goes back into the first round. Maybe falls into the
I wouldn't be shocked if Shedeur Sanders goes back to school.
He could. He's playing for his dad.
Yeah, and
they're going to get better recruitment now. I mean, Colorado's on the map now. So
he may look at it like with another year now of an improved line not competing with Caleb Williams and Drake May in terms
Bo
of draft.
Nix. Yeah.
If I was Dion, I think it's in Shador's best interest to go back to school for another year in terms of his draft stock.
Yeah. And development.
Yeah.
Because we've seen Shador Sanders. I mean, everybody's like, oh, Caleb Williams can't play against a top defense. Well, neither could Shador Sanders. You watch what he did against Oregon. Oregon killed him.
Yeah.
Oregon killed him. Because they have zero offensive line there. So
he should go. I think he'd be silly not to go back to school. Because if he goes back to school and has a big year next year, like right now, if Shador Sanders can't, I mean, and things change leading up into the draft, but he's probably trending towards being like a second-round pick right now.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
If he went back to school and he had a huge year, he could be the first pick in the draft. Like it can happen. So,
well, let's see. Yeah. I can name quarterbacks that would probably go ahead of him. Obviously, Caleb Williams, Drake May, Michael Penix going ahead of him. J.J. McCarthy could. Cam Ward could.
I think J.J. McCarthy will.
Jaden Daniels. There's 6. Like he might be the 7th best quarterback coming out this year if he comes out.
And did you say Bo Nix?
Bo Nix. I didn't even say Bo Nix. So
I don't really like Bo Nix.
I don't really like Bo Nix either, but
yeah.
Stuff. But point is,
I know everybody laughs at him, but even Riley Leonard from Duke is pretty highly
laugh at him because our history,
like a second round prospect.
Duke quarterbacks. That's
I don't want them, but there's a lot of guys that are in that second round area. Yeah. So I think Shador should go back to school.
I do too, because he's at the best. He's the 6th best quarterback coming out of this.
Yeah.
So it would behoove him to go back to school, get another year of development, like you said, get better players around him, and have a better year, and increase his draft stock.
Yeah.
L.A. Lou, I think it was super chat. I know you like Caleb Williams, but which of the quarterbacks in the draft is ready to start now? Is that Williams or a quarterback is staying? Williams is ready, man. I'm not worried about him only playing 3 years in college. He's ready.
Yeah. He's ready. He's coming out. Caleb Williams is the guy I want if I have the first pick. I don't think I'm going to change my opinion on that, regardless of what all the experts say leading up into the draft. That's the guy I would want.
Yeah, without question. I'm not worried about him needing another year in college. Just, I don't think C.J. Stroud was there for 4 years, was he? He was just 3, right?
3, I think. Yeah.
So usually they come out after 3 years and they're the number 1 pick. There's a reason. So I think he's fine. Chef Oz, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. He says, we're rebuilding as we should. Glad they gave Leo the option to veto his trade. We're building a good culture. In 2 or 3 years, we will take over the NFC. Oh, I hope you're right. If things go the way they do and they're cyclical, yes, I agree. 2028 should be our year because we win in 86, right? The Super Bowl started in 66, so that's kind of 20 years, but 86 and 90, and then 2007 and 11. So 17 years from 2011 is 2028. So we win in 2028, 2032.
I'll take that.
And my kid would be 11 years old, just like I was the first time the Giants won the Super Bowl in 1986.
Better hit on this quarterback, Baddog, if we want to win in 2028.
That's a fact. That's the fact.
Better hit on this quarterback.
That's a fact. JC, thank you with Super Chat, like Dable, but sometimes he's a bit airheaded. Well, that's why I did my parody of him. DJ next door runs tush push, many more dumb decisions. He regressed, not showing team confidence. So I agree with you. I don't think anybody on this team showed confidence. I think Dallas, Carl Banks made a great point that leaving, because I asked him and he didn't understand it either. That was one thing I really was on Dable's case about at the beginning of the year, was leaving Daniel Jones in that Dallas game. And then his reasoning for it made no sense with all the backups in there. It was just trying to get something going, Jordan. Then why did you take all your starters out except for him? And Carl Banks said that could have ruined his confidence. And
I'm again, we're not going to pound the table to get rid of Dable, but Dable's definitely made some highly questionable decisions.
Yeah, head scratchers.
Highly. The quarterback sneak made no sense last week. And then the biggest one was the Cowboys game with Daniel Jones, leaving him out there.
In Seattle, both of those.
Yeah.
Game's over. Why are you leaving him out there? Which that's when I started my conspiracy theory that John Mara told him to sign him, and these guys don't want him, and they didn't. I don't want to say they didn't care if he got hurt, but they were looking out for his best interest. I'll say it that way. I don't know.
Made no sense. None.
Did not make sense. Big Moo. Thank you for super chat, buddy. Appreciate you. He says, if it wasn't for y'all, if it wasn't for all of you here, I'd be done. Thanks. Thank you. We appreciate it. We need each and every one of you guys and girls to get through this year too, because we still got 8 more of these sons of bitches to play. 8
Yeah,
more.
I can't.
Including against, well, luckily for Chris and I, we only have to cover 7 because Christmas
will take off. Yeah, Christmas will take off.
I watch the game, but I'm not. I'll probably do a video, but I'm not going to be live on Christmas. That's not happening. It's going to spend that with my family. But we appreciate you, Big Moo. You're the man, brother. You're the man. And for you, Big Moo, why the hell now? Is this?
Thank you for being a friend.
Appreciate you, buddy. Samurai, thank you for the super chat. He says, "What up, guys? Hope you're having a good night so far."
You too, Samurai.
We are. We're having a good night. Hope you are too. Because Chris and I, working for the state or the government or whatever.
We're off tomorrow.
So we're off. So this is our Friday. It's good. Because 3-day weekends are good things.
Yeah.
He says it's actually reality when it comes to the Giants. Did you guys ever see this kind of regression for this team like this?
I saw it. I've seen it with the Giants. I saw it in 2018 or 2017 rather. Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
2017, we had the second pick after we won 11-5 the year before and won a playoff. Made the playoffs.
Yeah. I always say they're very similar. 2016.
And that 11-5 team, looking at it in hindsight, although this team showed a lot more reason for hope long term, that 11-5 team they were better than last year's team. They beat the Cowboys twice, who went 13-3 that year.
Yeah.
We didn't beat anybody like that last year. And that team completely fell off at 17. So, yeah, we saw it, 7 years ago. We're used to it as Giants fans.
It's true.
Yeah.
It is true. But, yeah, I didn't see it coming either year.
No, I didn't see it coming.
Definitely not. And a lot of times I don't think you do. I think you don't expect regression unless you lose. Like when Eli retires, you're thinking to yourself, well, not just Eli, but like when the Chiefs lose Pat Mahomes, say, when he retires, then you're probably going to go, well, we're going to regress a little bit. Or
the Patriots lost Rodgers.
When the Patriots lost Tom Brady, you kind of expect it. Or Aaron Rodgers. You lose a legendary quarterback, you're probably going to think regression. Yeah. But when you're bringing back pretty much the same team and you've added better talent around you, no, you don't see that. And unfortunately, that's what happened. Sucks. Chris, they have a super chat 4 teams this year.
College, yeah.
Teams next
they did
year.
12 teams? Wow. I remember they were talking about potentially 8. That's too much for me. And I know the NFL does 12, but I don't know. I think part of the allure to college football for me is how important the regular season games are. The like how pumped you to watch Ohio State play Michigan.
Because one of them could miss out now.
That game won't mean nearly as much now that 12 teams make the playoffs because they'll both make it in that situation. So
yeah.
I don't like that. 6 I would have been good with. Even 8, but 12? That seems excessive to me.
That does. That is a lot. That is a lot. Tommy, thank you for the super chat, brother. Appreciate it. Says your favorite NFC title game. Field goal winner, Matt Barr, 1990 versus San Fran. Tines, 2008 versus Packers, or Tines, 2012 versus Niners. Mine is always 2008. That's my favorite game. Mine, I've mentioned a number of times, Tommy, is 1990. That is my favorite game of all time. The NFC Championship game knocking San Francisco out, denying their three-peat. A team that went in there as complete underdogs, backup running back and Otis Anderson. Roddy Hampton broke his leg against the Bears in the playoffs. Backup quarterback and Jeff Hostetler. Nobody picked him to be able to go to the Super Bowl and win it. That'll always be my favorite. That 1990 game is
for mine.
The Giants are my favorite.
Mine, it's 08, like you, Tommy. That's mine. Obviously, bad 90 Baddog saw. I didn't, but 08 for me. Just the conditions of that game. And for me, the 2012 game was more. I don't even think of Lawrence Tynes in the 2012 game. That's no disrespect to Lawrence Tynes. It was a field goal that I expected him to make. There was a muff punt. And that was Eli's game. That was, the Packers game with the frozen conditions, the fact that he missed 2 that were closer than that one before
Closer.
that. I turned to my friends. I'm like, he's gonna miss. We're gonna lose. I didn't think he was gonna make that. So for me, it's that one. And that game almost felt like, it almost felt like you were, because I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think we would beat the Patriots. It almost felt like that was like our Super Bowl in a way. So like I was I always go 08. Just that game in general. But if you're talking exclusively the kick, I'm going with Lawrence Tynes in 2008.
The funny thing is, in that 2007 NFC Championship game, Webster picked the pass off. Obviously, you're cheering. You're like, we got this. And then they don't go anywhere on the field. They don't move the ball a yard. I actually think they lost a yard. And I'm thinking to myself, well, shit, now what do we do? Because, and then I see him come on the field. I'm thinking the same thing, like, there's no way he's making this.
I honestly considered thinking that what was the down and distance? I don't remember.
It was like 4th and 11. I think they
I remember turning to my friend. How long was the field goal? Like 45 yards?
47, yeah.
47. I told my friend we should take a 5-yard penalty and punt because I didn't think he was making it. And I was like, we should play a game of field position. That felt like it was like almost like a 60-yard field goal in those conditions, especially seeing how the way Lawrence kicked the first 2 times. So I didn't think he was making that kick.
I didn't either, but he did. And, the rest is history. That just goes to show you, if you're a young fella or a young lady and, you're in high school and you don't remember that, it just goes to show you that, believe it or not, we did have really good teams at one point.
We did.
Bears scored a touchdown.
I don't know if that's good or bad if you're rooting for the draft pick. They'll probably go for 2 to make it 17-10, I would imagine, right?
I think so. JO84, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. Says you should both wear paper bags over your heads when calling the Cowboys game. It'll bring some levity to our sad season, but we couldn't see the game.
Yeah.
I always bring the toilet paper playbook made a way out last week.
Yeah. We're going to have a lot more toilet paper out the next couple
Yeah,
weeks.
I'm sure the paper bag will make it into one of my post games at some point, but at this point, it's just like, they didn't go for 2. It's just like, what do you?
I'm surprised. Well, still early. I
It's
get
early.
it. Because, I get it. I get it. But I
don't
would
wanna
have probably
chase
went for 3. Yeah.
Fabian, thank you for the super chat. NFL allows up to 6, but non-enforced 6.
Oh, captains.
Oh, gotcha. Well, we have a lot more than that.
We have 10.
Yeah.
I think maybe he means that the NFL says that every team should have 6. Maybe that's what it is, what he meant.
I
But
don't know.
yeah, we have a lot more than that.
Yeah.
It feels like when we had all those coaches with Joe Judge, like we had an exorbitant amount of coaches.
Yeah. Yardley, thank you for the super chat. I told you guys in the super chat, and Giants fans bashed me. It's time to move on from DJ. He's going to be our bridge quarterback for next year. Also, another unpopular opinion: don't re-sign Saquon. I'll be honest, Yardley. I don't think that's as unpopular as you might think it is.
I don't think it's an unpopular opinion at all.
I think it's 50-50.
As a matter of fact, I think that's the more popular opinion among the fan base. I'm slightly leaning that I want him back, but for the appropriate price because of the young quarterback. But I think most people side. I think it's very close, but I think slightly more people side with Yardley's line of thinking than mine.
Yeah, I mean, whatever they do, I'm not trusting them. Me personally, I don't want to type $30 million in a run.
No, I don't want to do that either. Yeah.
So they tag him. I could see that happening again. I mean, that to me, I think that's the most likely scenario. Since they didn't trade him, they're probably not going to give him a long-term deal. He did deal with an injury again. They said something was wrong with his ankle in practice now, and he still has 8 games. And if he gets hurt again, he ain't getting a contract from anybody. They're not going to give him a long-term deal. So if the Giants say we'll tag you and he gets $12 million, I say, okay, I'll take it.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But yeah, Giants got a lot of decisions to make this offseason, without question. Basil Champ, he says JPP, Carson, Peppers.
We're talking about top 5 Giants. JPP was great, but I can't put him that high. At his best, though, he was as good as just about any pass rusher I've seen in a Giants uniform. At his best, at his peak, but it just wasn't long enough.
Carson obviously is a Hall of Famer. So.
Yeah, you definitely could consider him for sure.
Yeah. Royal Wolf. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Says, why in the blank am I reading an article about the Giants fans calling us to sign Kaepernick?
That
They're
can't be a
not.
real
They Kaepernick's been on the league forever, and didn't they sign Jacob Eason as well? So they have 3 quarterbacks, right? They have Jacob Eason, they have Matt Barkley, they have Tommy DeVito.
Colin Kaepernick hasn't thrown a football in the NFL since
2014, 2015,
2016, and he was 29 then, so he's 35 now. No, even older, right? 36 now. No, that's silliness. It's not happening, man. It's not happening.
Not happening. But yeah, they did, and like I said, they did. Well, where the hell was that going, Bryce Young? They just signed Jacob Eason, so I don't know. Svi Dax, Svi. Thank you for super chat. Cable Williams Bowl, perhaps big for the Giants. Perhaps the biggest game of the season tonight. Well, the Giants Patriots that'll be a big one because you're both on the same record, and that could be the Caleb Williams Bowl. We still got to worry about Arizona. Chicago's up 16. I can see Carolina winning this by a point. Why didn't Bryce Young take? Oh, that's why. I was gonna say he had the guy out in the flat. So yeah, we'll see. Typical Giants football. Not even Thanksgiving. Talk about the draft. Year over. All the time. College guy. Thank you for super chat. Hi guys. Yeah, I mean, there's a way if quarterbacks that they don't want, or I'm sorry, if the quarterbacks they want are gone, maybe they go that route.
Definitely possible. It's going to be more appropriate to answer these questions when the draft's actually here, when we know where we're picking. And if we're picking 4th or 5th, Marvin Harrison Jr. is certainly a possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Floyd said, I just got off the phone with Kaepernick. He says, what's up? You know, it's funny. I was looking back at some of my tweets, and there is one that I remember seeing, I said, oh, for the love of God, anybody but Jake Fromm. Sign Colin Kaepernick. I don't care. Anybody but Jake Fromm.
Yeah.
And Jake Fromm was.
I feel like we have another Jake Fromm, though. Like, that's what I feel like we're.
I think Tommy DeVito is better than Jake Fromm.
He's probably better than Jake Fromm, yeah. But that's where I feel like we are. Like, it's going to be an unwatchable game.
Oh, God. This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, this will be more about levity and having a good time and laughing it up and just laughing at how bad about how bad the team is without question. It's just really bad. D Nice says we're losing out. We're picking 1st or 2nd. We got some competition, even if we do lose out.
Yeah,
you know?
If we lose out, I think we'll have a top 2 pick. I don't know if we'll have the 1st pick, but
right.
It's unfortunate we're even talking about this, but that's where we are.
Yeah,
that's where we are.
And if the Bears win, they still benefit. Of course they do, because they have Carolina's pick.
That's true. The best thing for the Giants, and it's not going to happen based off the score, but the best thing for the Giants is a tie in this game. Because that almost acts as a win for those teams.
Carolina could miss an extra point. They're bad.
They could. 2 field goals.
That could definitely happen. Right, that could happen too.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at Bryce Young. Looking like a bunch of the Giants. Right to his hands.
I didn't love that pick for Carolina when they made it. Obviously hindsight 2020. I like Stroud more than Young.
Yeah.
The size worried me with Young.
Yeah. Afghanistan says DeVito is definitely better than Fromm, but that's not saying much. No, it's not. It's pretty bad. It's pretty freaking bad, man. Not we're not in an enviable position. We're comparing DeVito to Fromm. I mean, both of them are third string quarterbacks. So
Both of them, yeah. Actually, From was drafted, wasn't he? He was drafted.
yeah,
DeVito was not. Yeah.
right. Where did From go? He was like a fifth rounder.
He was. I think the Bills drafted him actually, which is
Yeah.
why we. Yeah, I think the Bills drafted him.
Yeah, well, they did draft him. I forget when.
I think it was like the 5th round.
I'm surprised that they didn't call him back in because we called Matt Barkley in just because he played over there.
Yeah.
Surprised. I don't know. So 34-3. I have 33-7 Dallas, but yeah, 34-3. That's very possible.
I could certainly see 34-3.
Yeah. Max says, "Am I the only one who doesn't like the orange jersey from the Bears? Look like pumpkins, at least. It's a theme. It's on theme with Thanksgiving."
I like the traditional jerseys for the Bears.
Yeah, so do I.
The navy blue or whatever they are. I like those.
Yeah.
Even their white jerseys are decent.
Those are good.
I think my favorite jersey is the 49ers, though. I've always liked the 49ers jerseys.
Yeah.
Raiders jerseys are good, too.
I like the Raiders jerseys. I like the Steeler jerseys.
Yeah.
It's like the black and gold. I think the Cowboys jerseys are disgusting.
Gross.
Gross. Horrible. I can't lie. The Kelly Green Eagle jerseys are pretty cool. The jerseys they wear now suck ass, but the old school 80s jerseys, I actually like those. I thought those are pretty cool. Is he really? Jake Fromm's in
maybe on the practice squad. I don't think he's rostered.
No, I didn't even know he was in the NFL anymore. After that, Xavier says Arizona and Carol. Well, Arizona's getting Kyler Murray back and James Conner, so they're getting healthy.
And they've been at least semi-competitive in some of these games. I could see them winning a couple of games. I don't know what their schedule is, but I could see them winning a couple of games.
They'll knock somebody out of there. They have to, right? They have to knock somebody out of there, don't they? Let's take a look at the Cardinals schedule.
Somebody posted on Twitter today. I was like, I could see maybe 2 wins. I don't think they play a really super challenging schedule, if I recall. They play the Bears.
Right. They play the Falcons. They can beat them. They could play the Texans. They could beat them.
I think Houston will beat them, but they could beat them.
Stroud is good.
They could beat the Rams without Stafford.
They could beat they could beat them. They could beat the Bears.
Yeah.
They might beat the Steelers. Find ways to win, but the Steelers aren't great.
I could see them winning a game or 2. I don't think they're going to win more than 2, but I could see them winning a game or 2.
Yeah, well, I don't see us winning a game or 2. So if they win 2 games, they're in good shape.
Yeah.
The guy, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. He says, for the first time in 3 years, I actually have hope for the future of the Giants. Joe will finally get his quarterback and his era can start. We'll be contenders in 2 years if we pick the right guy. That's a big if. That's a big if. Got to pick the right guy. Have got to. We can't be in QB purgatory. Again, it's just.
I won't have faith until I see the quarterback play well, because quarterback's a crapshoot. I mean, I know everybody's going to be excited. We're all going to be excited if they draft a quarterback. I won't be. I got to see evidence before I buy in. This team is.
I'm not going to get excited about any of these draft picks because
they just worn me down, man. Worn me down.
I don't know what the hell they're going to do. So
I have to see evidence.
I'll cheer those picks when they're on the field and they produce.
Yeah. But we'll see. I mean, listen, it's good. The fan base will be excited because we'll have a new shiny toy. But quarterbacks are the most unpredictable position in sports.
Well, it says I honestly don't see the Panthers winning another game. Well, let's take a look at them.
Well, if they're not going to win tonight, they might not win another game.
That's true. Let's see what they got. Well, they're not beating the Cowboys. I can tell you that.
Maybe they could win at Tennessee. Maybe.
Oh, they might not win another game.
They could win.
They have the Bucks. They have the Bucks twice. Like, I think they can beat.
Yeah, they maybe could pick them up. Maybe
the Packers.
Maybe. Not likely, but maybe. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough to top these teams.
Yeah. The
It's
thing
gonna be
that
tough.
sucks is that the Bears have that pick. That's
Yeah.
what sucks, because if Carolina had it, you wouldn't care. They're not taking a quarterback.
Yeah, they could trade out of it,
They would
but
trade it.
yeah.
That's what they would do. They would definitely trade it. But Holstein says Bryce Young is trash. I'll give him more than 8 games.
I mean, he's a rookie still,
Yeah.
but I'm not a big fan.
No. Williams is a more polished version of Jones. Caleb Williams. Daniel Jones doesn't have anything on Caleb Williams. Daniel Jones.
They're not even similar in terms of the way they play, in my opinion. Like they're complete opposites. Caleb Williams is, yeah, he's like an improviser. He's a guy, sometimes to a fault at times.
Yeah.
Where plays could get out of hand, but yeah, he's more, not that I'm comparing him to him because that's ridiculous, but he is more like a Pat Mahomes in the sense that he can improvise very well.
Yeah, he makes something out
He
of
can
nothing.
make something out of nothing. Yeah.
He makes ridiculous throws. He's got a cannon for an arm. I mean, it's stupid how strong his arm is. Daniel Jones doesn't have close to the talent.
They're just completely different style of quarterback too. Yeah.
53. Now, I don't think Dallas will go that hard on us. I think Dallas will actually take it easy on the Giants this time. I think they'll go up early and they'll cruise. I do. I don't think the Cowboys are going to rub it in. I think the Cowboys will be well enough ahead in the fourth quarter. They take their starters out. And like I said, I think 33-7 I think it's something like that. I don't think it's 53, but I can see a defensive touchdown for Dallas in this game without question. Not only did we lose our quarterback and a running back, the other thing is another guy we didn't even talk about, Chris. We lost our kicker this year.
Yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah, there's another guy that it's crazy, but if Gano was Gano this year, we everybody's talking about the 1-yard plays. If Gano was Gano this year, we'd probably have at least 4 wins, even with everything that's transpired.
We beat the Jets.
Yeah, if Gano was Gano, we'd probably have 4 wins. So, yeah, you don't even think about that, but yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Darius says somewhere comparing Williams to Mahomes, if you can believe that. If you watch them play, you don't understand why.
Yeah.
You don't understand why. Pat Mahomes also had a fumbling problem in college.
Tony Romo had a fumbling problem. There's been several quarterbacks that this year it's come back, but well, not really. I don't think Danny Jones had a ton of fumbles, but he corrected his fumble problem for the most part. Last year he didn't fumble much at all.
Yeah. For the record, number 3 pick not good enough. I don't know what you mean there. The guy says, for everyone saying O-line first, tell me why the Cowboys don't make the NFC Championship. They have everything but a quarterback. Quarterback one is the most important thing to get right. That's the fact.
Yeah, no, it's definitely the most important. You need both. I think if you want to consistently compete to win Super Bowls, you need both. They're both vitally important. But quarterback's the most important position. Anybody that argue against that is out of their mind.
Yeah. Oh, without question. I mean, that's why you get the quarterback and you build around it. You can't build a team and then put the quarterback in there because, as we talked about before, teams that are picking at the top usually have a really bad team. They have a bad offensive line. There's a reason they pick that high, and it's because they're not a complete team. It's because they have a lot of work to do. So those quarterbacks always go into the worst situations, the guys at the high picks. It's rare. Dallas was a rare occasion where they got Dak Prescott in the 4th round, but Tony Romo was the quarterback. They didn't plan on Dak playing. Tony Romo ended up hurting his back or breaking his back, and he couldn't play. And Dallas already had everything. They drafted Zeke 4th overall because Tony Romo got hurt the year before. And they had a bad year, but they were still a really good team. It's just they lost quarterback, so they sucked. That was kind of an exception to the rule. Philadelphia went out and they drafted Jalen Hurts in the 2nd round. This is right after they signed Carson Wentz to a deal. So a big deal. So these people are like, they can't get a quarterback because they have Daniel Jones. Didn't stop Philadelphia from doing it. And they got rid of Carson Wentz when they found out Jalen Hurts could play. And Jalen Hurts' first year wasn't good. And then guess what happened? They got an offensive line, and then the rest is history.
Yeah. You need both. You need both. It's just in a perfect scenario, you have the line before the quarterback comes in, but you can't. If you have a chance to get the most important position improved, you do it. So,
Yep.
but you need both.
Yep. What did I just see? And the Giants trade up, which you don't know how far they're going to trade up. We don't know where we're picking.
Well, all around highlights. I don't think Sewell was in the. I saw his comment. I don't think Sewell was in the same draft as Joe Burrow. I think Sewell was the draft where they took Jamar Chase, right? Because I remember we had that debate that draft where it's funny. Like 2 years in, you would have said they clearly made the right pick. I don't know. Penny Sewell's pretty damn good. So either way, it would have been a really good pick for them. Both of those players have worked out really well.
Well, Joe Burrow doesn't need an offensive line either. You see how good he is.
Yeah.
They don't have a great offensive line. He has great receivers. I was of the advocate, draft your quarterback, sign T. Higgins, and then put the rest of the crap in your offensive line. That's why I looked at it. T. Higgins ain't even having a good year. He might be less than, but he's a good player. He didn't have a good year. I think he has 2 touchdowns all year. Maybe he's got 4 now. But because he had a good game the other night against Buffalo. But, Cincinnati's not bringing him back there. So,
probably
guys,
not.
free agent, you want a number 1 pick for your number 1 receiver, rather for your quarterback? There it is. And I would like to see a guy that can throw the ball down the field to Jalen Hyatt that doesn't underthrow him. That'd be great. Because I honestly think Jalen Hyatt could be something.
He could definitely be a guy a big play receiver, definitely. Maybe not a number 1, but he could definitely be a guy that makes big plays.
Yeah, I think that he could be. Yeah, exactly. I think he's a guy that can make an impact without question.
Yeah.
Seen it already. JL, thank you for the super chat. Again, my friend, he says, Giants might use Saquon as trade bait in the draft. Well, he'd have to be under contract. Like if he
I don't think that'll happen. I think if they trade Saquon, it would happen in season. I don't think a team would trade for Saquon in the draft. I could be wrong. It could happen, but I think it would happen in season if we were going to trade Saquon.
Yeah.
If you're bringing back Saquon, you're bringing him back to help the young quarterback. That's what I think you'd be doing.
Cable says Caleb Williams and Higgins and Hyde. I'm getting a little excited. Yeah, I mean that'd be pretty cool. I think that would be a pretty good combination. You'd have to fill it out a little bit still because most of these receivers you have are on 1-year deals. Shepard's not coming back. I can't see them bringing Slayton back. I can't see them eating almost $8 million to bring Slayton back. I don't know what Isaiah Hodgins' contract is. Oh, yeah, he's been invisible this year. He was great last year. I haven't heard him at all this year. Who else we have on this team? Paris Campbell ain't coming back. That might have said that.
The only receiver that's coming back is Wandell and Hyatt.
Yeah.
That's it. Shepard's not coming back. Slayton's not coming back. Campbell's not coming back. Those are the only 2 that are coming back.
Yeah. No question.
And of course, Waller, if you want to count him.
Yeah.
He'll be back.
What do you think about the Giants trading back into the first to get an O-line guy? If they like somebody enough to trade back into the first, they'll get him.
Yeah. They got an extra second-round pick now. Yeah.
Yeah. We don't know where we're picking, though. I mean, that's the thing. But when that day comes and they see guys they want and they have a guy high in their board that they think they can go up and get, like they went up and got Hyatt. So we'll see what they do. I like it, though. I like this. The Chris Peace is the same thing. Caleb Williams, Hyatt, Waller, Wandale. I mean, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. Somebody said we look deflated. Well, we are.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's not fun coming on here talking about this team right now.
Right. What do we have? I mean, we're playing against Cowboys. We got our faces beat in the first time. It's our 3rd string quarterback. Our running back's beat up. Everybody's beat up. We got no kicker. We're 2-7. We're talking about Caleb Williams already. We haven't even hit Thanksgiving. It's hard. I mean, what are you going to do? There's really nothing to look forward to the rest of the year.
Yeah.
There's just nothing there. For me, I want to see guys like Micah McFadden continue to improve. Deontay Banks. Like, I want to watch the rookies improve. I want to see Hyatt gets a place. I want to see John Michael Schmitz take that step forward. I'd like to see Evan Neal get better and develop and become the right tackle that we drafted 7th overall. Those are things I look at, like those individual performances of guys that I know are coming back next year, as opposed to like the overall scope of the game, because we're not winning.
Yeah.
Stuff. Saquon, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. He says, it's just crazy that we're talking about the draft again.
What else to talk about? I mean, we're irrelevant at this point. That's the truth.
Can't talk about the game. I mean, what are we saying about the game?
There's nothing to talk about. We're a 17-point underdog in an NFL football game.
It's
like a college spread.
It really is.
You don't see those kind of spreads.
It does not happen in the NFL.
We're a 17-point underdog, and the Cowboys are probably going to cover.
Probably
in an NFL football game. So, what is there to talk about? We're going to get destroyed. We got Tommy DeVito at quarterback.
Barkley's banged up.
Waller's not playing.
Right. We don't know if Evan Neal's playing. We don't know if
I don't think Evan Neal's going to play.
We don't know if Barkley. I don't know what the hell the deal is with him. There's not much hope. There's not much hope. Oh, there it is right there. You guys look deflated, man.
Well, we are.
I mean, it's we are deflated. Ronald A. with Super Chat. I'm in the minority. I think there's you're probably in the minority, but a lot of people do like Drake May. It's he's no secret. A lot of people like Drake May more than Caleb Williams. Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Yeah, he's definitely gotten a lot of buzz the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. So you're not alone. But I do think most people would say Caleb Williams is a better quarterback prospect. That doesn't necessarily mean
so bad though. The spread is 17 points right now.
Yep.
And the over-under is 39. So basically what Vegas is telling you, they expect Dallas to win. What is that?
I told you, Chris.
28 to 11. That would be 39 total points and a 17-point spread.
So I didn't know it was 39, but my prediction was on Twitter today, 33-7 Dallas. That is 40 points, and that is covering a 17-point spread. 33-7 is kind of where I have it. It's not going to be – it ain't going to be pretty.
Not good.
At all.
Not good.
Not close. Alex says that Cardinals comeback will cost us multiple. Well, I don't know what it costs us. You mean multiple positions? Yeah, I mean, if we don't win that game right now, Arizona's got a better record than us, and we're sitting at 1-8. And we probably would have the first pick.
Yeah, I don't look at it that way though, because that was the second week of the season.
Right. Yeah, but hindsight being now though,
we went into that game being like, that we need.
We thought it was turning it around for us.
Yeah, we need this win to save our year.
It didn't.
Yeah,
it did for that week.
Yeah,
and that was about it. Eric says if Evan Neal, Aziz, Shep waste a roster spots, Jihad Ward too. Well, Aziz wasn't going anywhere. He still has a year on his contract. Shep didn't need to be brought back. They brought him back more as a freaking coach. I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's a good question, Peter. I saw that today, Bad Dog. I think last year the scoring was down too, if you remember. Like last year the Giants were 16th in points and they only averaged like 21 points a game. This year, the average points per game, I think, is like 21. And it's the lowest total since like 2007. And my answer to you, Peter, I think it's a couple of things. But I think the biggest thing, when I look around the league, the quarterbacks suck. Like, look at the talent at the quarterback position right now, Bad Dog. I mean, and a lot of it's due to injuries. Like Aaron Rodgers got hurt. But when you look around the league, like the Jets have a bad quarterback. The Patriots have a bad quarterback. You look at our division. Obviously,
we bring in Josh Dobbs. The Cardinals,
Kirk Cousins got hurt. The quarterbacks in the league are just awful.
The Patriots have a bad quarterback.
Yeah.
Guy, can you imagine what the scoring would be if Miami wasn't in the league?
Yeah, they put up 75.
Miami brought their way up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Carolina, their quarterback isn't good this year. The Falcons aren't any good. The Bucks aren't any good. The
Colts.
Saints offense is bad, right? The Colts lost Anthony Richardson. It's just, yeah, it's tough. Packers, they're no good. There's a lot
Quarterbacks
of
are just
bad,
bad. The
there's a lot of
Bears.
bad teams. The Bears, right? There's a lot of bad teams in the NFL.
Yeah.
That's why.
There's only like 9 or 10 good quarterbacks right now, I feel. Like, when you look around the league, it's just that position is just it seems like it's almost in a transition phase.
Yeah. Talking Eco, thank you for the super chat. Well, there's one of the field goals, Chris. It is now 16-13.
There you go. Maybe we will get a tie.
That'd be pretty funny. Hey, guys, really disappointing season. I'll be rooting for the Cardinals, Bears, and Panthers for the rest of the year. Yes, we're with you. Well, either the Panthers or the Bears are going to win tonight because they're playing each other. And, yeah, we got to hope somehow the Cardinals find a couple of wins somewhere along the way. Kyler Murray coming back, maybe that helps. But
this is the first week in my knockout pool I've picked against the Giants, but I got to do it.
Dallas?
I think that. I mean, they're a 17-point favorite.
And everybody's got to take Dallas.
The thing is, though, it's not going to even, because everybody's going to advance because everybody's going to take Dallas. There were 908 people when it began. Now it's down to 285, but everybody's going to take Dallas. So there's still going to be 285.
Yeah.
Everybody's taking Dallas this week.
Yeah. Irish Rover, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate this to my fellow brothers in arms. Happy Veterans Day.
Yes, well, 2 days technically, but we celebrate it tomorrow.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. Veterans Day is the 11th. But yes, absolutely. Always shout out to the men and women who serve our beloved country, because I say all the time, without them, we can't do what we do. So obviously, much respect to the people that serve our country without question.
Absolutely. Appreciate all you guys.
Floyd's 17 points. What a joke. It's pretty bad. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I honestly think Dallas is going to cover it.
I do too.
I think they're going to cover it.
I have 33-7 Dallas. That covers.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but I look at it like Dallas is going to look
MyBookie.ag. Drop your bets, win some money, take Dallas. I wouldn't touch the over, but
and Dallas is coming off a loss too. Like, this is like a get right game for them. Like,
correct.
I think they're going to cover. I hate to say it, but I think they're going to cover.
Sean says after Tyree Phillips said he was much better coming back, different line coach. Bobby Johnson is going to be gone, I think.
Yeah.
I think he and the special teams head coach or the special teams coach are gone.
I'd be surprised if he's back.
I will be too. I definitely will be too, without question.
We need a tie here.
We had a perfect storm here. Injuries, bad coaches, more injuries, bad calls by the ref, and lack of offensive scores. And don't forget, our defense is really bad, like the first month, and then they were good for a month, and then against the Raiders, they decided not to show up. So it has been a terrible year, Chester, but maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Maybe it's a blessing in disguise. We end up with the first or second overall pick, and we get that quarterback that is him.
Yeah.
So, it's funny that Caleb Williams is even a possibility, because when he was a freshman in Oklahoma, like you said, I never thought we'd have a shot at him. I never thought that we'd be sitting there getting Caleb Williams. I always wanted Caleb Williams to be a Giant. I always wanted the Sooner guys to be Giants, but that kid is special, man. Talent. He's got a lot of freaking talent. That kid he is fun to watch.
Oh, yeah. He's great.
Alvin Dog, thank you for the super chat. I can't gamble yet, only 20. You can
probably a good thing.
You can gamble at 18.
You can?
You can legally gamble at 18. Absolutely. You can buy lottery tickets at 18 years old.
Oh, well, that, yeah. I think you mean sports betting, but it's probably a good thing.
You can bet horses at 18.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't go to a casino that serves alcohol on the floor unless you're 21, because they don't check IDs. They check ID when you go in there. And if you're not 21, because people come around, they're not checking their ID when they serve alcohol. They just come to you, say you want a drink, and you order it, and they just assume you're 21 because you get checked when you go in. But there's definitely places that don't serve alcohol like that. That's 18, like Turning Stone I don't think they serve alcohol. I think they have bars, but they don't like have waitresses that go around and serve you alcohol like they do in Vegas or Atlantic
Mhm.
City. So you be 18 to go to Turning Stone and gamble in a casino. Maybe sports betting is 21. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't been 21 in a long. I've been 21 over twice, and I still got a lot of years after that. I always like when they say, "Can I see your ID?" When I get something to drink, I go, "I'm farther away from 21 now than when I was born." So I've been around a while.
Good question from All Around Highlights. He says, if Daniel Jones is healthy week 1, would he start even if we draft a quarterback? I think he would if he
I
was
do
healthy.
too. Yep.
Yeah, I think it's valuable. I know like people look at CJ Stroud and he got thrown right in, and sure, it could work, but more often than not, especially in a situation like the Giants have where it's not like a very well built team, I think it is valuable for a rookie quarterback to sit and learn at least for like 4 or 5 weeks behind a veteran. So that's what I think they would do if Daniel Jones was healthy. You let him sit for a month or so, get a little bit more comfortable with the playbook, and then you put him into the fire. So, yeah, if Jones was healthy, I think he would start. But it would be obvious that he was going to be replaced within a month or so.
Yeah, I agree because even before Daniel Jones got hurt, we talked about how if they continue to lose, they would draft the quarterback and Daniel Jones would be the bridge guy and he'd be the fall guy. And then in 2025, your rookie's going to start, or at the end of the year, your rookie's going to start. The best thing that could have happened for the Giants would be that, Daniel Jones did perform. He's played well the next year after we drafted a quarterback and they could trade him. Because like Chris mentioned, you see Minnesota just lost quarterback. They had to go out and get Josh Dobbs. And with Josh Dobbs, it was amazing. And I'm a Josh Dobbs fan without question. I mean, kid showed a ton of heart. I love those guys that do that. But you see all the quarterback injuries happening around. And if somebody's, 4-2 or whatever, 5-2 before the trade deadline, and their quarterback goes down and Daniel Jones playing well, maybe a guy reached out and said, "Hey, I'll give you a second-round pick for Daniel Jones," or and you say, "Okay, done," because we have a quarterback already.
Yeah.
And then you would start from there on out. But obviously, Jones ain't going to be back till the middle of next year. I don't
Probably
think
not. I don't know what
have
the time.
surgery yet because they
Yeah.
have to wait and they wait for it to swelling to go down and all this other stuff. Like I remember Barkley when he did it, he waited like 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Um,
He was back though at the big. I mean, he wasn't himself, but he was back the next year, wasn't he? At the start of the season, if I'm not mistaken, Barkley.
was he?
I think he was, but he wasn't
I
himself.
remember riding a bike. I remember that
Yeah.
being a big deal about them going to a bar and him riding a bike.
And
So anyways,
Theodore, go ahead.
how did we win 2-0? We had a miracle in Arizona, and we played Washington. I mean, we always beat Washington.
And Theodore asked, but if Danny starts next year and goes 5-0, anything's possible, I guess, if they play a really soft schedule and they play the right teams. You leave them in at that point. There's no. If the team's playing well, you leave them in. You that would be a perfect scenario, Bad Dog. Like if you draft, I don't know, a quarterback, Drake May, whoever, and the team's playing really well, you let Jones stay in, you let him build up his trade value, and you let the quarterback sit for a year. That's perfect.
Yep.
I would love that if that were to happen.
Yeah.
That's like the perfect scenario, but probably wouldn't happen. I don't think we would start. I don't think that would happen. But if it did, yeah, that's what you do.
Ronald, thank you for the super chat. He says ACL has to be right away or after swelling. Well, I think they said they're waiting for the swelling to go down. For that, So we'll see. D Nice says Jones not the answer no matter what. I'm on that train now myself. He's not it, and he's not going to be it. The Giants are going to draft the quarterback, not only because he did not perform well this year, but as Chris mentioned, the guy's had 2 neck injuries, and now he tore his ACL. So he's not dependable at all.
Yeah.
So if you can get a rookie quarterback in a very rich quarterback class, one of the elite guys, you're doing it. Because, again, it gives Joe Shane job security because he's going to be attached to that guy, not Daniel Jones. So that's what's going on there. I feel like that's coming. Yeah, exactly. Kyle Murray, James Scott. I'm not worried about Arizona so much. I'm worried about Carolina. I'm worried about Carolina because that's the Bears pick. If Carolina had that pick, they would be trading it because they're not. They just drafted a quarterback. So, but the Bears have that pick. The Bears could easily say Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean,
And the other thing I'm thinking about is I'm talking about that Daniel Jones scenario if we draft a rookie. If Daniel Jones isn't ready, I think the Giants would sign a veteran to start, at least at the beginning of the year. It would be a very quick. It would be a very quick hook. Like it might be like 2 games. But I think they would bring in a veteran to start the year, like what the Chargers did when they drafted Herbert. They brought in Tyrod Taylor. The Browns also brought in Tyrod Taylor when they drafted Mayfield. Mayfield didn't come in until like week 4, and that was only because
maybe we bring Tyrod Taylor back.
Yeah, we might. That's what I think we would do.
Yeah, without question, he could be the guy to bring him in for another year, $6 million, whatever the hell he gets, $8 million, and call it George. You know, so I don't know. Cavale says Giannis has scored 54 points against Pacers without making a 3, and the Bucks still lost. Giannis is freaking good. Freaking good. Unknown says Daniel Jones has always been Dave Gettleman and Pat Shermer's quarterback. This isn't that regime anymore. Say enough time to move on. I agree. I think that was Pat Shermer's guy, and Chris mentioned that before too. And then when Joe Judge got here, Joe Judge was nothing like Pat Shermer. And
yeah, it was a disaster. That was a disaster.
It was just not. It did not work. It was a disaster, frankly. It was a big disaster, quite frankly. Take a look at that as just a big, big disaster. You know, Chris, people talking about Caleb Williams and saying, I don't want Caleb. You know, he said he wanted to be part owner of a team. Well, I got news for you, people. That was fake news. It's fake news.
It just them firing Shermer actually prolonged the agony as Giants fans when they did, in my opinion. Like looking back at it in hindsight, because if you would have kept Shermer and things would have bombed the next year, which we'll never know if it would have, but if it did, you could have scrapped everything. Like Daniel Jones would have been now, 2 years in, but Shermer would have been the guy for him, and you would have fired Gettleman and Shermer together. You could have scrapped everything then. So them firing Shermer, it screwed up everything. It screwed up the quarterback, and then you could say, well, how Daniel Jones to perform? A new scheme. It just screwed. They should have kept Shermer. And it wasn't because Shermer was a good head coach. It was because you just drafted a rookie quarterback to fit in his offense. It didn't make sense. And it's going to be the same thing this year. I don't care if the Giants win 3 games in 2024. If you draft a quarterback, Dable's got to stay another year. He's got to. He's got to stay. You got to give that rookie quarterback 2 years with the same offensive coordinator. You got to give him a little bit of stability.
Yep. And I think they will, because I don't think Joe Shane will get fired. So I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'll go with Lucas from Dan. I know it's good to see Lucas from Dan. He's the man. Roll that question, Lucas. Good on, Mike. Thank you for watching from Australia. Always appreciate that. He says Tyler Huntley is a name to keep an eye on. Yeah, you never know. I mean, we'll see. The Giants.
The guy's like, isn't he? Is he even the backup with Baltimore anymore?
I don't know.
I thought Baltimore got a different backup before the year started. I could be wrong, where he was like the third stringer.
I don't know. Let's see. McAdoo, OC, Shermer, OC, Judge, special teams, Dable, OC. Well, they were all offense coordinators that became head coaches.
Yeah,
I guess that's what that was.
I mean, that's usually what's going to happen unless you hire a retread. You're gonna have to hire a coordinator if it's not a former head coach.
Yep. Fabian, thank you for the super chat. McDermott is fired. Do you think Dable out like Flash? Dable's not going anywhere.
That would be foolish. It's not happening.
No, not happening. Not happening. Alvin says the Giants wanted to play a game. Bought Dable 4 years. Well, I think Alvin, like we were talking about, I think drafting a rookie quarterback gives the GM
2 more years.
2 years,
which in turn gives Dable 2 years.
Correct. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They're not. Shane picked Dable. He's not gonna.
Yeah, and
He's
Shane's
not
not stupid. He knows that could create instability for his young quarterback if he fires
right.
Dable.
Yeah.
So they're getting 2 more years if they draft a rookie this year. They're going to get 2 years with that rookie quarterback, and they're going to see what they can morph him into.
Yep.
At the end of the day, that's why Dable got hired to begin with. He had great success with quarterbacks. That's why he moved up through the ranks. So
Yep.
that's why he's here. Let's see what they could do when they get their quarterback.
Yep. If Caleb May are going, I like Michael Penix. That's my guy. I know he's dealt with some injuries. I know he's 23. I just like Michael Penix. I'm a big Michael Penix fan. I have been for some time since his days at Indiana. I've liked Michael Penix. So I mean that would be the guy that I want personally. But we'll see. You know, who even knows? Who knows who Shane has number one? Maybe he does have Penix number one. Maybe he does have. I'm sure he's going to look at McCarthy this week, and he'll probably take the flight. I forgot who plays first. I think Michigan plays at noon and Carolina plays later at 7:30. I think that's what it is. And well, I'm going to look right now. I think Shane could fly from Michigan down to North Carolina and see both of them, and he might do it. Who knows?
Is this game going to end in a tie?
I don't know. Carolina, they did get the first down. It could be hilarious.
That'd be great. That'd be the best thing to happen to the Giants is a tie because it's almost like they both win the game because a tie is as good as a win when it comes to the draft tiebreakers.
Yeah. Michigan, Penn State is at 12. So he'll be there. Washington, Utah is at 3:30. He won't be there, but I'll be watching that. That's a good game anyway. Then you got Michael Penix, so I want to watch. And then UNC Duke is 8. So he could easily take a plane from Michigan to North Carolina and get there by 8 o'clock. Without question, the Michigan-Penn State game, he'll be flying, not Michigan even, he'll be flying from Pennsylvania to North Carolina. What's that, a 2-hour flight? If that?
Yeah.
He could easily get to Michigan. He could easily do both of those games. And then USC plays Oregon at 10:30. So, like I said, you're spread out. You got J.J. McCarthy at noon. You got Michael Penix at 3:30. You got Drake May at 8. You got Caleb Williams at 10:30. Those are your games to pay attention to. I've been putting that on Twitter. Somebody said to me, he goes, Baddog, put this every week. I'm like, well, I plan on it. Especially now Daniel Jones is hurt. No, I definitely plan on giving you the update all the time on who's what. Ronald, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. Tons of players have the best years when Dable's around. Look at Peyton Hillis, for instance. Look back at Dable's jobs and track the players. Very well could be.
I mean, look at Stephon Diggs when he got to the Bills.
Yeah.
That was by far. I mean, obviously Josh Allen has something to do with that, but Dable has something to do with Josh Allen. So yeah, listen, Dable's a good offensive coach. So you got to give him a chance with his quarterback.
Yeah, without question. There's no accountability for play. We don't even know who the hell is calling the plays at this juncture. Like, who the hell? Who is even calling the plays? I mean, it doesn't matter at all.
If I'm going to be honest with you, Baddog, next year if I'm Dable, I do fire Kafka, and I'm not. Either way, I'm going to be okay with whatever they decide to do, but because Dable's job's on the line. The second you draft that rookie quarterback, I'm calling the plays if I'm Dable. I got to save my job.
If you got a rookie quarterback, you're doing it.
Yeah, I'm calling the plays.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't fire Kafka, but I take over play calling duties if I'm Dable.
Floyd says John Mara's calling the plays. He very well could be. Yeah. Tobo Island, there he is. He's got Donald Trump there. He says they gave McKinney the captain badge so he could stop whining, frankly. It's funny. McKinney said, he goes, well, they're not hearing us. I'm like, well, that's funny because I've been hearing you. I'm like, I've been hearing them all year. McKinney's been very vocal this year. I think he wants out.
No.
I think he wants out. I can't say I blame him. But I think
I wouldn't blame any player on this team for wanting out on this team right now.
Well, it says Allen doesn't look nearly as good without Dable. Red zone, no, but his stats are about the same last year as they were with Dable. So
Well, last year he was still great, but he wasn't the guy that we were expecting him to be.
Right.
This year, I know he has a lot of turnovers still, but I think he leads the league in touchdowns, or he did. I think.
He's got 18 touchdowns and 9 picks this year.
Yeah, he's throwing a lot of picks still.
Yeah, I mean, in 2021,
he's always been a guy that's thrown a good amount of picks, though. He takes chances.
Yeah, in 2021, his completion percentage was 63.3%, 4,400 passing yards, 36 touchdowns, 15 picks, 92.2 rating. Last year, 63.3%, 4,283 yards, 35 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, 96.6 rating. Almost identical stats.
I'm looking at these quarterback stats. Who's the front runner for MVP right now? Is it Tua?
AJ Brown.
Yeah.
I mean, AJ Brown is pretty damn good. Maybe Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill deserves some consideration. In the end, it'll probably be Mahomes because he'll probably get hot in the second half. But I'll tell you what, man, Tyreek Hill deserves some consideration.
Yeah, without question.
He's been incredible. Tyreek Hill will be my top 3 or 4 for MVP right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He has to be.
That's what I mean. What are his stats?
He's got almost 1,100 yards in 9 games and 8 touchdowns.
He has 8 touchdowns. Yeah, AJ Brown only has 6, and Tyreek Hill's leading the world in receptions and yards. And last year, Tyreek Hill had 1,710 yards receiving and 119 receptions. That's insane, considering that Tua missed a lot of time last year.
Yeah. I mean, I would have said McCaffrey, but he's kind of tailed off a little bit.
Yeah.
Because of the injury. I think Tyreek Hill's in consideration, man.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. None of the quarterbacks are really standing out.
Mahomes will win it. We know that in the end. Mahomes is going to win it. And people in the chat mentioned him. He's probably in the top 5 or 6, which is insane. CJ Stroud.
Oh, yeah, without question.
He's got 14 touchdowns and 1 pick in 8 games.
Yeah, that's insane. And they're 500, right?
Yeah, nobody saw that coming from Houston this year.
No, God, no.
So he is in the top 5, probably for MVP right now, which is wild for a rookie.
Yeah, it is. It's a big 3rd and 10 here for Cleveland. Let's see what they got here. Theodore, thank you for the super chat. I'm going to drop this because this is my favorite drop. All right, the $20 super chat always gets this one here. My favorite. Thank you, Theodore. Appreciate it. Says, love the content, guys. Love the work. Only Giants channels I watch. We appreciate it, Theodore.
Appreciate that, Theodore.
What do you think we do with Evan Neal? I know we have him for 4 years, $24 million, but I don't feel like he's the guy. What do you think? I think they keep him right tackle the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they try to, we'll see what if they draft the right tackle, if they sign one, but I think you have to try to move him to guard at some point. I don't think you can let him stay at right tackle if he continues to fail. And I think you have to try him in a different position to see if it works. If they would have done that with Eric Flowers, they might have actually gotten something out of Eric Flowers. So I think this year's a wash anyway. See if you can develop him. Next year, I'd start him at right tackle, but maybe try him at guard during the preseason. That's what it's for. You got to figure something out with him, though.
Yeah. I think, like Baddog said, I think he's definitely gonna, if he even plays again this year, he's hurt again. But I think he finishes the year at the right tackle. And I think we'll have our answer in terms of where they're leaning, what they're going to do with Neal next year before the year starts, after the draft. Like if they, or after free agency, even perhaps. If they sign a tackle, obviously we know what they're doing. If they draft a tackle early, we probably know what they're doing. I could see it going both ways. I could definitely see them starting him at the right tackle next year to see if he could grow. But if they do that, I think they need to have a quick hook from within season if things don't get drastically better. Because he just may be better suited to play the guard position. Like, we haven't seen much growth. I mean, if anything, he's gotten worse this year. So I think inevitably he's probably going to end up being a guard for this team if he sticks with the team long term. I think he's probably going to end up being a guard.
Carolina missed the field goal. Game over.
Oh, no
It
tie.
was short. It was a 59-yarder. It was not like it was a gimme.
So
It was
no
a
tie.
59-yarder. It was short. It was short.
So now, well, they got 2 timeouts. So I guess they still have it's only a field goal. So they still have a small chance.
I guess.
They'll have about 30 seconds if they could get a 3 and out.
Yeah, I don't know. But listen, guys, it's been 2 hours, and honestly, there's not really much more to talk about. This is probably what the show is going to be about. Every week, we'll monitor where we are in the draft. We'll root for the Bears. We'll root for the Cardinals. We'll root for the Panthers, and we'll talk. I don't even know what the hell we're going to have to say after the Dallas game.
The Bears jumped us. There you go.
Yep, the Bears definitely jumped us. So
we're third now, right, in the draft order?
Yeah. We'll root for Arizona. Kyler Murray's coming back, so that should help us.
Who are they playing this week?
Who the hell does it? I just looked at this. Let's see. The Cardinals have the Falcons.
They could win. I wouldn't obviously pick them, but they could win.
It's in Arizona. It's
I would say 30% chance I'd give them with Kyler coming back.
Kyler's in there. They can do it.
I
maybe.
give them a solid chance to win that game.
I mean, Atlanta don't have a quarterback. They're starting Heineke. They benched Ritter, so
maybe 40%. You might be talking me into 40%. Arizona's played hard this year, so maybe getting Kyler back, they do win that game. I wouldn't be stunned if they win that game.
They do. I mean, that'd be awesome. So, but yeah, guys, girls, we're gonna get out of here again. Really appreciate all the support you guys and girls always show us. It's been a horrible, rough season, and it's not going to get any better. So we're just going to continue to monitor the draft and talk about whatever. And
hopefully we have fun on Sunday. That's
all. I mean, we always have fun, even when we're losing. But because sometimes it's so bad, you have nothing you can do but laugh.
I see Patty popped in. She had her.
There she is. I'll be live with Patty tomorrow. Chris is going to watch Bill Burr.
I'm seeing Bill Burr at the Garden. I forgot when she messaged me. My brother got me tickets for my birthday, so I forgot that I'm going to the Garden tomorrow to see Bill Burr. So, yeah, unfortunately, I won't be there with you guys
for Sunday.
The 12th. Yeah, Sunday's my birthday.
Yeah, I remember Chris's birthday.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Chris is gonna get a good birthday present. He's doing the Dallas Giants game.
Yeah, Dallas Giants
birthday.
For my birthday.
Lucky you.
Yeah,
lucky you. But I will be live with Patty on Locked On Giants tomorrow. It's probably 7:30. I got to get out of there by 9:30 because I got the Lakers tomorrow night. But we'll talk about it for 2 hours, and always love working with Patty. She's great. And Chris, you enjoy Bill Burr. Yeah. And you guys and girls in the chat, if you do have a long weekend like Chris and I do, enjoy it. And if not, the weekend's not too far away, right? So we're going to get out of here. Anything you got to say, Chris?
I appreciate all you guys, man. I appreciate all you guys for being here. Appreciate all you guys, whoever's going to show up on Sunday. Thank you guys for continuing to listen to us. Even when, if we're being honest, there's nothing to talk about. We've got our third string quarterback in there. We've got... we're playing a team that's much better with us, even when we have all our starters in there to begin with. Right. And we just spent 2 hours literally just talking about the draft when we don't even know what the hell we're picking. We don't even know what the hell we're picking because there's nothing to talk about right now. So we appreciate you guys.
We're just assuming top 5 at this point.
Yeah. This offseason will be at least exciting. You could put it that way. It'll definitely be an exciting offseason. I think there'll be a lot of turnover in terms of the coaching staff. So we'll get new positional coaches in there, maybe even a new OC. We'll see. And then obviously the draft, all eyes will be on the quarterback position. But until then, until we find out where we're picking, it's a lot of speculation. But appreciate all you guys for being here.
I had to put that little picture on Twitter too. I thought that was good when I found that one from 2000.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Got to do that because that was, even though he sucked, that was a freaking awesome, that was a good time. We have to do that again. Eventually, we got to get back to the damn game, Chris. You and I got to meet up in person again. That's going to happen.
Maybe we'll see Caleb Williams next year in a Giants uniform.
Maybe we will. Oh boy, it'd be tough to get tickets when you got the rookie playing. Everybody want to see him play. Anyway, we're gonna get out of here. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate you for the entertaining talking sports. It is the Baddog Dizzle, and we out. Peace.